Trooper, what are we tier listing today?
We are tier listing iconic divas. That's the category.
Fucking are.
That's the category. So icons, divas, and we're gonna see how this goes. And
yeah.
I also teach a class called Black Divas, so I have thoughts on divas. We'll see how this goes.
Interesting. So it's very, very possible. I'm not super up on everyone and everything, so you may need to. I'll go from top left to bottom right, like so.
Okay.
I'll go from left to right, top to bottom. So we're starting off with
Whitney Houston.
Is that Whitney Houston? Goddamn. Shame on me. However, because of the way we tier list, they start at the bottom, and then we take the next person and we rank them against each other.
Okay. Am I allowed to? Okay. So I take it that I only get one between 1 and 5 in that top tier, right? Is this?
Yes.
And then I see.
So this second person is
Aretha Franklin.
I was going to say I should have just gone for it. So already hugely difficult. Own personal preference for whatever reason. While there will be judgment, it will be light-hearted judgment. We will not actually call into question your opinions. Who do you prefer, Aretha Franklin or
Whitney Houston? Yeah.
Whitney
so this
Houston.
is tricky. I just want you all to know that I picked this category because the category is impossible and there's no way I can do it, and so I wanted to give myself the most torture.
Absolutely. That's the whole point. You should have seen me in the 40K.
I'm going to do all the torture. Now, when it comes to answering this question, it's going to be difficult because I'm not always going to answer prefer.
Sure.
I might answer who I think is more
iconic or influential.
Significant. Right.
That's fun.
Yeah. So I'm going to have to rank Aretha over Whitney, even though I think Whitney's super, like they're both really, really important.
Yeah.
It's just that Aretha is
iconic.
It's one,
Like
so is Whitney. Like they're both super big. But I mean,
classic. Like you could make an argument for both of them, but we have the distance on Aretha where it's like you could almost put her into classical, stand the test of time.
Yeah. Basically, it would be very difficult for Whitney to exist had there not been an Aretha.
Yeah.
Is what I would say.
That is, yeah.
Right, because I mean, Aretha being really important in sort of bringing the gospel style into pop music in the way that she did. So, and of course, Whitney is coming out of that same tradition. And so, right. But Whitney's really important for crossover success. So I imagine Whitney's going to be quite high on that list as well.
Yes. And yeah, there's a possibility that everyone will be just as difficult as we move on to, I'm trying to see who this is.
That is Chaka Khan. Which you would probably not recognize, but that's Chaka Khan.
Okay.
Chaka Khan's super important in terms of like funk,
Yeah.
but we're gonna have to put Whitney and Aretha above Chaka Khan.
Okay, that's fair. Cool. Next up.
That's the iconic Diana Ross.
See, this is the thing is, I was like, I swear I saw Janet Jackson on here. But I don't think I have, and I think it's maybe because I thought that.
Oh yeah, no, that's Diana Ross.
Yeah. I saw Diana Ross, but I thought it was Janet Jackson because I just kind of like gazed over it. So, Diana Ross.
So Diana Ross is ranked above Chaka Khan.
That's
especially for significance, without a doubt.
But then we have God, I was going to say Oprah Winfrey. Sorry, you're going to have to help me with the names because I'm not much for...
Aretha, Whitney, and Diana Ross.
Whitney. Sorry, it's Diana Ross and Whitney.
Both Aretha and Diana Ross have to be ranked above Whitney.
Okay. Diana Ross and Aretha?
Oh, okay. So this is a political question.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, so this is a political question. And I'm going to tell you the right answer, and then I'm going to tell you my answer.
R-A-S-P-C-T, find out one. Sorry, yes.
So the right answer is that Aretha ranks above Diana Ross, but
Okay.
I actually disagree, and I would put Diana Ross above Aretha, but everyone will disagree with me.
Ooh. No. Well, I mean, people can disagree with you as much as you like, as much as they like. This is not just like importance or any. This is you. So this is what
Yeah.
you value, and like, for example, you could very easily let me just go through here a little bit. Like you could take like Dolly Parton. If you if you adore Dolly Parton's music, which like for myself, I love Jolene. Beautiful
It's
fucking
amazing.
song, so good. If you put Dolly Parton above Aretha Franklin, like that's still valid because if you love the music, but you don't really have anything else to like hold her up with, you still love the music. You still value something, you know.
So here's the thing:
we're not
people
putting Dolly-
value Aretha because she has a hard gospel sound,
Yeah.
right? And people think of the hard gospel sound as being more authentic. But Diana Ross is actually doing a soft gospel sound that people don't recognize, and it's I think just as important. And the things that were happening in Motown are also really historically important. So I feel like people sleep on Diana Ross also because people think that Dreamgirls is a documentary, which it's not. So people like to hate on Diana Ross, in which I think are in ways I think are just not fair. And they're like, "Oh, she can't sing." I was like, "She can. She's just doing a different style." And so I want to give some love to Diana Ross because I think that people disrespect her too much.
Oh, and also I want to highlight just because we're on music and everything, and I love the UK rap scene. There's a really great rapper called Wretch32. Sorry, Wretch32.
I don't know Wretch32. I know some of the UK rap scene, but I do not know Wretch32.
Wretch32 is possibly, in my opinion, one of the best lyricists in existence.
I'm opening up a tab.
His way with words is amazing. The way he thinks and the way he writes bars and everything. There are a couple of people who can compete with him, but he has a poetry about what he does as well, which kind of elevates him a little bit. He's in my top 5, but he's not my number 1. Maybe one day I'll do UK rap tier list. But there's a line in one of Wretch32's freestyles, which is it's never life's story, because if Whitney is the lesson, how would you define Bobby? Which I always really loved as a line.
That's good. What is one of your favorite Wretch32 songs?
I would say go for the let me just
because I've got tabs open right now. I'm gonna open a tab and I'm gonna listen to this once we get off stream. You just have to know it.
So I would say he's done quite a few Daily Duppies, but I would say if you search Wretch32 Daily Duppy, the one that's called #Redemption, season 3 episode 1, because he plays with words in that.
I see it. Season 3, I got it.
If you want something more poetic and like deep, like really deep thought, kind of introspective stuff, I would say Wretch32 Far in the Booth Part 5 is probably the one to go for.
Okay.
So both.
I'm ready for it.
If you want at some point we can chat UK rap scene, because there's some really good UK. I assume you probably know like Stormzy, Dave,
but also
maybe Fredo.
I'm kind of old, right?
Yeah.
So like I'm very interested in because this is all like one of the things I do is I think about voice.
Yeah.
Right. And I think about one of the things I thought was very interesting is the question. So like there's a question, right? And the question is about Black Brits.
Yes.
How do you as Black Brits create an identity when Blackness is imagined as being American, US American all the time, right? And the kind of ways in which how do you sort of create this identity as a Black Brit when you're being erased by the UK? And what do you do, right? So I think about, for example, in the 60s, all of these UK white British bands loved Black Americans, loved them, loved Black Americans. did not love Black Brits, right? And
Yeah.
they would go on and on about how much they love Black Americans, and they'd like, all those Black British blues bands, like Eric Clapton saying all sorts of sketchy stuff, and
Mm.
but then also like being a fan of Enoch Powell and keeping Britain white, right? So here's a person that like loves Robert Johnson but does not love Black people in the UK. So that there's this whole problem, and Black people in the UK in the '60s were not treated particularly well,
Yeah.
and the band The Foundations had to pretend to be Americans in order to get popular in the UK, right? So they were a Black British group, but they pretended like they were an American group. And so when you look at really early British UK, a lot of them are rapping with American accents. And then to see the development
Mm.
of a, an
Accent.
accent, a dialect, a flow that is recognizably, audibly not American to sort of create Black British identity, I think it's fascinating, right? To sort of think
Which
about that.
that whole accent and like
Mhm.
British essentially grime
Yep.
and UK drill are
Yep. Yep.
now I see a lot of American reaction channels who
Yep.
react to like British drill, like
Mhm.
UK
Mhm.
drill, and they're like I enjoy American drill, but to me the accent for British,
Mhm.
for drill in the UK
Mhm.
is that's drill to me. Like that's what
Yeah.
I
Yep.
prefer, that's what I love. And so
Yeah.
like a lot of UK rap is bleeding into the US now,
Yeah.
which
And
is really
that's
interesting.
I think that's super interesting. And thinking about people who will use sort of like a Jamaican patois, but they are not actually from Jamaica. Maybe their parents are,
Yeah.
but that's the way that they can make themselves audible, right?
Well, there's really interestingly, there's a drill rapper in the UK called Abracadabra,
Hmm.
who I'm a big fan of. I think he's really talented and really good artist. Uh, I think I can't remember exactly. His family is originally from somewhere in Africa. I don't know where. I want to say Ghana, but I think that's because Stormzy's from Ghana originally, or
Hmm.
like his
Hmm.
family's from Ghana. But yeah, Abracadabra speaks with a Jamaican patois
Hmm.
because his entire like his growing up, his neighborhood was
Hmm.
all
Hmm.
Jamaican.
Hmm.
So when he raps and everything, you can hear that patois and everything. And but it's nothing to do with where he's from. It's everything to do with where he grew up, which I think is
Hmm.
really interesting and kind of cool. Um,
Yeah.
sorry, I feel like okay, you need to do a UK rap scene on your channel. I'll come over to you and I'll take you through all of this because we do need to get through the tier
Okay.
list.
Fair. 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 Um, uh,
So next up is oh god, I don't know.
Dionne Warwick, I will
Oh,
put.
okay.
So now I want you to know that Chaka Khan is going to end up being much higher on this list, but it's
Mm,
fine. We're going to put Dionne Warwick up to the next level
okay.
and at the and behind Whitney.
Behind Whitney. Okay.
Hmm.
And
Because
also, who are you though? Respectfully, is a line from Lady Leisha, who's a UK rapper.
hmm
She's one of the best rappers. Which God, I hate doing this. So I'm so sorry to offline things like this, but
fine.
Lady Leisha is when you go and watch people reacting to her, they
Hmm.
say man, she is one of my favorite rappers. They don't say she's one of
Hmm.
my favorite
Hmm.
female rappers,
Hmm.
like gendering that like that. So
Hmm.
gives you an idea. But in one of her diss tracks, she says, "Who are you though?" respectfully, and I love that line.
I have
So
lots of love for Moni Love, but
yeah. I'll eventually when we get to the end and we have people in their actual ranks, I'll change that to something a bit more respectful. But just for
of
now, it
course.
made me laugh. Sorry, carry on.
Donna Summer,
Donna Summer.
she's next.
Yes.
She goes on the same tier as our current group,
Okay.
and I think she has to go after Whitney, but before Dionne Warwick,
Okay. Okay.
because she's like really important for disco divas. So that's really
Mm,
important.
mm.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
Dionne Warwick is that's her name, correct?
Hmm. Hmm.
What style of music did she do?
She worked with Burt Bacharach,
Okay.
and she did a very sophisticated style,
Mm.
which is really important because a lot of the imaginations of blackness is that black people are rough and violent and messy
Yeah.
and not sophisticated and smart, right? So she's doing this 60s very sophisticated style.
Mm.
Do you know the way to San Jose? Um, if you see me walking down the street and I start to cry, walk on by. That's the song. Walk on by. Like
I know
really,
Walk On
really.
By. Yeah.
And so it's just really smooth style that was sort of speaking to a kind of a sophistication within Black culture that is often ignored.
Okay.
When like the Rolling Stones really only want to think about like Robert Johnson or the White Stripes, and right, and so that's I think she's very important for that, in sort of articulating a kind of
elevation.
Yeah, that is
elevation of perception. Like she's holding up stuff. Yeah.
Oh, Beyonce. Oh my goodness.
You're like if you feel about Beyonce the same way I do, you may get hate.
Oh my goodness.
If I may give my own perspective, not to try and just to give you a little bit of time and to give my own kind of like thoughts on this, I feel like if Beyonce was born in an earlier era, she would have been a like really now respected like solo, kind of. I feel like she's kind of fetishized by everyone in a way that is kind of takes away from her music and stuff, and I don't. She feels way too like commercially poppy to be influential or like important to my own like personal thoughts.
See, I don't really I'm very suspicious about ideas of commerciality because
Yes, that's fair.
There are bands that are super commercial, but we don't think they are because of their style.
Yeah.
We tend to sort of read commercialism as part of style rather than actual popularity. Right? Like people don't tend to think, people think of like Nirvana as not commercial, even though, I mean, because their sound is rock, right?
Yeah. Or grunge, yeah.
Yeah, grunge, right? So their sound is grunge, just people don't think of them as being commercial.
And they present themselves as very anti-establishment.
Right. And so if you present yourself that way, then you're not, even though people love to buy that.
Yeah.
Like basically, no one that we can get access to is not commercial.
Oh, yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Some kind of way, right? So, and the thing about Beyonce is that she is she's very influential. She's very, very important.
She has a lot of clout,
and she's doing a lot of things. There's a lot going on there. I think about her, how important she is to a lot of people.
To be fair to Beyonce as well, like you can't look at someone and the things they do and say like they're doing this for this reason. You can't read someone's mind.
No, you can't.
To me and my cynical, horrible person brain, I'm like, everything's so commercial and everything's so PR that the reason people do these things is because it's good for their image or because it helps sell their stuff and etc. But that's unfair.
But that's the Sex Pistols too. Do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, that's the thing that like it. You know what sells really well? Saying that you hate commercialism. You know what I mean? Like, Rage Against the Machine was on a major label, so like I'm never really too bothered because that's everything.
I'm trying to be fair. I still don't personally rate Beyonce. I don't like her music and etc. But that's my own personal taste.
Yeah, and of course, what for me, like, it's never really about like. I always tell my students, I don't care if you like this music we're going to study. I don't care if I like it. Like, that's not really the point. The point is how what is this music doing? Does it do it well? And I feel like when you think about Beyonce's visual albums, right? Lemonade, that sort of stuff. I think that, and the things that she's done in the music industry to sort of subvert particular power structures in the music industry, I think you have to rate her highly. So she has to be on that same rank up there right now.
Okay. She moved past Chaka Khan.
Yeah, she has to. I mean, she just has to.
That's fair.
I think thinking about her historically, we have to put her after Whitney, but before Donna Summer,
Okay.
which,
Oh,
is
so
hard for
there.
me because I love some, one more to the left.
Didn't you say after
Yeah.
Whitney?
Yeah.
Oh,
After
sorry,
Whitney,
the delay. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's where she's going to have to go
Okay.
because now I always feel sad because people always want to pit people against each other.
Yeah.
And so people will up Beyonce, but like ignore Rihanna. But I think Rihanna is also really important. But that's a whole other thing altogether.
That is. But talking of pitting people against, I don't have a segue. I want to take a guess. Is this Alicia Keys?
It is.
Oh,
And
I keep on falling in and out of love with you.
right, put her right where she's at. That's perfect.
Yeah. So move Chaka Khan up.
No, they can sit in the same level.
Well,
Oh, I see.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So a few more, and then people start moving up into the 16s, 25s, and keep
I
going.
see. Okay.
Dolly Parton.
She is gonna have to go.
Jolene. Have you seen Dolly Parton performing with? I think she's on this. Miley Cyrus performing Jolene together.
I have.
I really enjoy that.
I think we're gonna have to put Dolly Parton. This is really hard.
Yeah.
She's very, because here's the thing. Everybody loves Dolly, right? Dolly
Yes.
is really amazing. Love
Yes.
Dolly. But when it comes to country women, I don't think she's the most significant. She's up there, absolutely up there.
She's the most visible, maybe,
I mean,
or
I
like
would rank
the
her-
most kind of iconic in the sense of known.
I think what I would say is that there are people who I would rank above her, but I do not think they're on this list.
Yeah.
Like I would put Patsy Cline above Dolly Parton
Mm.
in terms of sort of importance. There are a couple of people. So I think we're going to have to go Dolly after Aretha, but before Whitney.
Really? Oh, okay. She really made it. Are you sure? Because I mean, think about Titanic, man. How many times has Dolly Parton written a song that was so? Was it Whitney who wrote that? I'm pretty sure it was Whitney.
No. That whoever wrote Titanic was probably like James Horner, I think.
Well, I mean, the near far.
Yeah, that was Celine.
That was Celine Dion. God damn, I'm so bad at this. No, it was The Bodyguard. What was the song in The Bodyguard?
I Will Always Love You.
Yes. Like, come on. Can you think of a Dolly Parton song that is more than I can't even try and sing that.
And they both did it.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm just trying to make it more difficult for you to
Well,
rank.
but I mean Whitney, because
these people.
Dolly Parton wrote that song.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Dolly Parton wrote I Will Always Love You. She sang it first.
Well, fucking hell, dude. I'm
that's
learning
why-
shit.
Yeah. That's why she has to be ranked above Whitney.
That is fair then. Goddamn. Okay.
Yeah.
So, question.
Yes.
Did Aretha Franklin write her songs?
Oh, how do we answer that question?
Sorry, I'm extending this for the sake of torturing you.
So this is okay. So I'm gonna have to tell you a difficult answer for you because I am a weirdo.
Sure. I mean,
So I have we have an idea of what it means to write a song that is based on certain ideas of copyright and certain ideas of what it means to write a song.
Yes.
And I do not agree with that definition of writing.
Okay.
Our definition of writing is okay. I'm going to tell you a story.
Okay.
Right? I'm going to tell you a story. Now, she did actually write a couple of songs, not a whole bunch. She wrote like Dr. Feelgood. She wrote Since You've Been Gone, which is a good one. Co-wrote with Ted White.
I'm going to bring up
Ariana.
Is that Ariana Grande?
That looks like Ariana Grande to me.
Yeah, just have a like.
That's true, right? Yeah.
This is how bad I am. Like, I don't recognize Ariana Grande because I'm so out of the sphere for so long that I reckon I think I recognize some of these people, but very often it will be a guess that I hope is right.
So I'm going to give you a definition of author and writing that is not the legal definition and that many people would disagree with. But you know what? I don't care. So, um, so I was in Germany. I lived in Germany.
Sure.
And it was the 90s, right? And so these producers had me audition for them to go and do some dance music, Euro dance, as it were.
Yeah.
And so I'm up there and they're like, here's the song. I was like, great. What do you want me to sing? And they're like, we want you to sing this. And I was like, great. And they're like, but you can improvise the melody and some lyrics if you want. You can kind of make it your own and you can improvise that stuff. And I was like, uh-huh. And I said, because they had me do it first with what was written and I did what was written.
Yeah.
And I sang it well. And they were like, great. So now, American, you can just, do your improvisation, etc. And I was like, will I get writer's credit? And they're like, no. And I was like, yeah, so I'm not doing it. And they're like, but we can make you a big star. And I was like, that's interesting. And they're like, and if you didn't want to tour, we could get somebody to lip sync your vocals. Like, yeah. No. And they're like, but we're big producers. We can make, and I was like, look, you want me to write melody and lyrics, but you don't want to give me writer's credit.
Yeah.
I'm going to say no. And the thing is, so often, Keep Me Hanging On by the Supremes, that starts off that guitar riff, right? Set me free, why don't you, babe? That guitar riff is crucial to making that song what it is. That guitar player who made up that riff gets no writing credit because we don't count that as the song, right? It's the person who writes the lyrics and writes the melody on that sheet music who's considered the author. So you can think about Mary Clayton, who's the background singer for Give Me Shelter by the Rolling Stones. That song is her. She improvised all that stuff. She wrote all that stuff herself, but she's the backup singer and she gets no writer's credit.
It's just a shadow away.
Yeah,
that song is shadow away.
Yep. And she gets no writer's credit. She got paid $100 or whatever she got paid, and that's it. And so for me, I tend to think of the authorship of a song as not being just the person who wrote down the notes, but a lot of people.
Everyone with creative input to the song.
Yes, everyone with creative input is a writer of that song, and that is not how it goes legally. And so while Aretha Franklin has only quote unquote written a handful of songs, she often arranged them at the piano. She made those songs what they were. Right.
Where do you draw the line between performer and creator?
Yes, because I think that the performer is a creator, right?
Yeah,
and I think her version of Eleanor Rigby, for example, is a completely different song. And I know that technically that's going to be counted as the Beatles, but her version is not the same song at all. It's a completely different song.
It's like Johnny Cash doing Hurt.
Yeah, I think that he wrote that version of his song, if you know what I mean. His performance of it is a new song, and he will never get credit for it that way.
No,
but I tend to be a bit more expansive.
I mean, to be fair, the lead singer of 9 Inch Nails kind of said no. After I listened, I was kind of weird about it to begin with, but after I listened to it a couple of times, I'm like, fuck yeah, this is his song. Give it to him. Fuck it.
And I think it's also, I think about this with jazz. It was a big problem with jazz for a long time because jazz musicians in the 40s and 50s, they would take I've Got Rhythm, that song. They would just take the chords and they would do their own thing over it. But it counted as being written by what's his face who wrote I've Got Rhythm. I can't remember his name right now. But they didn't get writer's credit. It was counted as a cover, even though the song has really nothing in common except for they use the little opening melody and they use the same chord changes. And so how we count who's an author is kind of jacked up. And so she may not have, by our legal standards, written that many songs, but I would say that she actually completely, as a performer, authored a number of songs. Is what I would say.
Yeah. Okay. So sorry to sorry to call into question your
No, you're not at all. But I think it's important because I think about the ways in which people get screwed over really badly. Like Lennon and McCartney get writer's credit for almost all of their songs, not Ringo and George. And George was creating all of those guitar parts, and he doesn't get to be a writer in those songs that he wrote the guitar parts for. And that does not seem fair to me. You know what I mean? That just does not seem fair to me.
And then you've got the whole pop thing where, you have people, and rap as well, where you have people making the beats and everything, and there's often backing vocals to add some, there are quite a lot of rap songs where the thing everyone remembers is
Yes.
all the backing vocals because they're really
Yes.
cool, and the rap part
Yes.
of it is like, yeah, whatever.
Right. And those people who get the backing vocals, they don't get any credit, you
Gangsta's
know?
Paradise.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Why are we so blind? Like that, you know, I
Yeah.
actually have the majority of those lyrics memorized for some reason, but you know, that's
Yeah, and so I just like for me, I want to recognize a more broad sense of authorship. Do you know
that's
what I
fair.
mean?
Yeah, 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 definitely.
Because like drummers do stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like what would We Will Rock You be without that amazing drum
Mm,
opening? Do you know
mm.
what I mean? Or the drum fill that Ringo does in Come Together, which is really hard to do.
Come
Like
together
right, like it's
right now over
over
me.
me.
Mm.
And
God
they
damn, I
sought
love
out
music.
Ringo. They sought out Ringo because he was the best beat drummer. Like, and so I just kind of like I don't think the Beatles would have been the Beatles if they had kept Pete Best, you know?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
just like sort of thinking about the ways in which everybody who's part of that team is part of the authorship. And uh, I just feel like we don't often respect like our just idea of what authorship is too narrow. That's all.
That's
You
fair.
know? Or like even the producer, right? Like Nirvana's Nevermind sounds like Nirvana's Nevermind because of the producer Butch Vig. You know what I mean? Like there was like a lot that goes into making a song sound like the song that it is.
Yeah,
And I just kind of want us to recognize everybody's work.
that's fair.
That's all. Ariana Grande can stay where
Ariana,
she is.
yeah, no, it's a kind of like I do also like Alicia Keys. I do really.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm, I
Yeah.
sometimes I some and like I don't know the intricacies of it, and I'd hate to send you off on another deep dive, but sometimes I wonder if Alicia Keys didn't get the um because she's an amazing singer. Like
She
I
is.
loved her songs, but she fell out of, at least for me, public perception quite quickly, and I'm wondering if that's because she wouldn't like play ball. Because
Oh, the music. Yeah.
very often that happens with the music industry. Like if you're not willing to
Yeah.
compromise and play ball, then you do just get kind of like run over by, you know, like Ariana
Yeah.
Grande. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
hey,
But
you know,
it's also the also this is one of the difficult things of the matter is that the music industry as we currently have it and for a while is not really interested in playing music over the age of 30
yeah,
by women, right? So like if you're a woman and you hit 30, it's gonna be really hard for you to get mainstream radio play
yeah, yeah,
because they're not interested in you. So like it's a rare woman who's able to keep her career in the mainstream past the age of 30, unless you're an R&B and country. Those two subgenres tend to keep women around longer.
or
And
Madonna or Cher maybe.
yeah, but they're the rare exceptions. But even then,
They
what's
also
really
make a lot of they have to like keep up with the
yes,
times and like shift
yeah.
their style, and you know, like
But Madonna
Madonna
stopped getting.
especially. Yeah.
But what's interesting about Madonna is that Madonna stopped getting played on top 40 radio.
Yeah.
So Madonna still has number one hits up the wazoo, but they're in the club dance charts
Mm.
because there was a British DJ who, when she came out with what album was it? It
Ray of
was
Light.
no, it was after Ray
Oh,
of Light. It was
okay.
probably
Just a
uh,
little real
Rebel Heart
time.
maybe, or the one before then.
Yeah.
And the songs on it, it might have been like 4 minutes when she does Justin Timberlake. Anyways, around that era, right? And she was burning up the charts on the dance club charts, and this BBC radio DJ who plays the Rolling Stones, by the way,
Mm.
was like, nobody wants to see some 50-year-old woman, so I'm not going to play her, right? So there's a way in which Madonna still is a force to be reckoned with, and she still does really well, but she's basically being blocked out of the pop charts because radio does not want to play a grandmother. That's
Yeah.
what the guy says. Like, I don't want to play a grandmother.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, but you're going to play like The Living Dead, which is the Rolling Stones, because I swear they might actually be undead. I'm a little bit worried about some of them. But like you like there's a way
Yeah.
in which like you can get older as a dude and still get played, but if you're a woman, it's
Yeah.
really hard for you to get top 40 radio play. So
Which I feel has shifted more and more, but I can still see the, you know.
yeah, it's
Who's
rough.
who's this?
Oh, that's Patti LaBelle.
Patti LaBelle?
Patti LaBelle has to go up.
Yep. Behind Alicia Keys currently.
Oh, this is hard.
Oh, okay, this is gonna be fun.
Um Mm. Ooh. Patti Labelle was when she was part of Labelle, did the song Lady Marmalade, which you might know. Voulez-vous
avec moi ce
ce
soir.
soir? Yeah. We're gonna have to go. She's ahead of Alicia Keys.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Chaka Khan?
Oh, that's a good question. Chaka Khan's so important when it comes to funk and women. She's one of the very few women in funk that we talk about. But Patti LaBelle has had a much broader career,
Yeah.
and people coming out of LaBelle are pretty important, especially like women in rock. Like Nona Hendrix is pretty important, although Nona Hendrix is not Patti LaBelle. But let's put Patti LaBelle above Chaka Khan.
Okay.
And
we're getting towards people whose names I don't remember because
that's Dionne Warwick.
Dionne Warwick.
I'm going to have to keep Dionne above Chaka Khan, above Patti LaBelle, even though people would think that Patti LaBelle is more important. But Patti LaBelle is in a kind of a hard gospel style, of which we already have Aretha.
Yeah.
So I'm going to keep Dionne Warwick above Patti LaBelle.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to take a guess at this, but I think I'll be very, very wrong. So, who is this?
Gladys Knight.
Oh, okay. I'm glad I didn't guess.
Gladys Knight.
Would you like to know who I was gonna guess?
Who?
So I was gonna guess. God damn! It doesn't have her name in the. Where the hell is her? Brandy.
Oh, Brandy.
Yeah.
No, Brandy's too young.
I know, but I was like, I haven't seen Brandy for
ages.
20 years. This is how she might look now.
Oh no, she still looks so young, Brandy.
Oh, okay.
She does not.
Okay.
She looks so young still.
You know what? While you're deciding where Gladys Knight would go, I'm just gonna see how Brandy is now because I feel like I need to know.
Oh, here, this is what you need to do. Do me a favor. Go to YouTube.
Yes.
Look up Jennifer Lewis, Brandy, in these streets.
Jennifer Lewis, Brandy, in these streets.
And you should find a video that's probably around like 40 or 50 seconds.
Yes, 50 seconds. It says Brandy, Roz Ryan, and Jennifer Lewis perform in these streets.
Yep, that's the one.
Okay.
That's like 2 years old, maybe.
Okay.
That's the one that you need to listen to. That's important for you.
Okay.
It's not that old, but you will probably get a kick out of it. Is all I'm going to say. They were hanging out at Jennifer Lewis's house, and they decided to sing a song, improvise a song together, and it makes me laugh.
Yeah, it's yeah. I also just went to look at 2021 pictures of Brandy, and I'm like, yeah, you're right. She does. She this picture I'm looking at here, she looks very similar to Gladys Knight, just a bit younger, essentially. But sorry, we're off track again.
Gladys Knight goes after Alicia Keys.
Oh, so I was like, after Ariana Grande, that's
no, after Alicia Keys.
Yeah,
Gladys Knight's really important, but like I'm gonna have to put her there because
that's fine.
Alicia Keys is kind of important for like a kind of a hip hop R&B mix. So that's
yes. And a lot of talent as well. I know all of them have a lot of talent, but Alicia Keys sticks out in my mind for just pure talent, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, and she's also doing kind of important things now as well in terms of like beauty standards. So I'm gonna put her in there.
Which has moved. Oh, shit, I can't remember who this is.
Dinah Ross.
Dinah Ross is up into a tier of her own for now until we rank more people. So.
And I'm gonna see if I can adjust some people. So that's Billie Eilish, it looks like to me. Am I right on that one? Or is that Gaga?
Billie Eilish. No. This is Lady Gaga then, yeah. Billie Eilish is the green hair down here.
Oh, yes, you're right. Yes, that's Gaga. Okay. Ooh, Gaga. This is going to be controversial, my friends.
Great pop music. That's about all I have for my opinion on this one.
Lady
Gaga. Very catchy, isn't it? Her music.
Okay. So this is tricky. This is tricky. This is tricky. Ooh.
I want your love in your
So I think that her first album, Fame Monster, was really interesting.
Yeah.
In the sense that like that whole Bad Romance era, because she was making really interesting commentary on the ways in which the music industry treats pop women.
Yeah.
And she was very critical, really interesting, really fascinating stuff going on there in that first album or so.
Did it kind of drop off with Fame?
And then I feel like she kind of got into a weird space, and there's a lot of weird discourse around her. And people are like, I don't like that her fans are like, no, she's really good because she's classically trained. And I was like, you need to stop that. Like, stop that.
There's like the whole meat suit shenanigans and
but that was fine.
Well, for me, it just like, and this is me being cynical and not really knowing that much. From like a glance, Lady Gaga to me always felt like trying to seem unique, to stand out. I don't know how valid that is. You know, that's just
they're just different ways of doing that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's one of those things where it's like sometimes I look at something and I'm like, there's no reason to do that, you know. And it's like wearing a suit of meat. It's like, sure, that's weird, and it's possible that I don't know if there's some kind of statement about that or whatever, but it just feels like.
Well, here's the statement. It's a reference.
Right.
Which I think most people didn't get, but it's a reference to, in the 1970s, some second wave feminists protested the Miss America pageant by wearing meat suits. So like dresses made of meat. So it was like actually a reference. And like, you know, but like in many ways, like she's following a tradition of like a lot of the glam rockers, etc. She's doing stuff.
Yeah. I'm assuming above Ariana Grande?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
No disrespect to Ariana Grande.
No. But
Gladys Knight?
Oh, yeah, put her above Gladys Knight.
Ooh, Alicia Keys.
Yes, you have to put her above Alicia Keys.
Chaka
in terms
Khan.
In terms of cultural significance. Yes, you have to put her above Chaka Khan.
Okay.
Because there are a lot of people for whom Lady Gaga is really important to their identity.
Yes.
So we have to put her above Chaka Khan.
Sorry, I don't know who's next. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Patti Labelle.
Patti Labelle.
Okay. I think you're going to have to put her after Donna Summer, but before Dionne Warwick.
So here.
Yeah, which is super outrageous, and I don't know how I feel about it, but I also know how important she is to an entire generation of people.
Yeah. But how about to you? Because this is your tier list, essentially. It doesn't matter if people are like, yo, you can't do that, because you totally can.
But I know, but this is how I operate. You know what I mean? Like I just sort of like operate this way.
My job is to make sure you're tiering as you want and not, you know, feeling like you should put someone somewhere when in fact your own opinion puts them somewhere else.
Yeah, but my opinion is really weird. Like my opinion kind of is odd. That's Beyonce, Krillin.
Yes. Beyonce.
Okay, so
because like I feel like, for example, with Beyonce, like myself, if I was tier listing this, I like my preference would be to put her low, but I don't want that headache because so many people love Beyonce. So I might be tempted to put her higher because I'm like, I don't want people shouting at me about how awesome Beyonce is.
I don't mind people yelling at me, but I also think that she has done really important things, and so
and also like being fair to your tier listing here, like as someone who loves and appreciates music and also teaches and etc., other people's opinions will be important to you because of how you view the subject.
Yeah.
So,
It's true. It's true.
I'm still going to question you occasionally and try and make it difficult.
Please do.
But
please do.
Know that it is in attempt to make this harder for you, not because I think you're wrong.
I'm for it. I am for
Sweet.
it. Yeah. And Amy Winehouse is tricky.
I kind of really enjoy Amy Winehouse. but at the same time, I'm like, when someone dies young, it kind of skews their content for me a little bit, because I feel myself pushing a little bit and going like, you are idolizing them because they died young. It doesn't mean that they're as good as you say they are.
Yeah,
it's like it's like at a funeral.
Yeah.
Everyone's nice at a funeral, regardless of how much of an asshole you are.
Yeah, so I don't rate her as highly as a lot of people do.
Yeah,
And I think she's sort of problematic in
sure.
many ways. And I think the way that she was treated was problematic. There's like a lot of mess around her.
Yeah.
That said, she is really significant in kicking off the British neo soul situation, right? After her comes a whole bunch of women coming in her footsteps, and she's really important to sort of kicking that off.
She almost kicked down the door a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Northern Soul's been a thing since the 60s. The UK has been sort of dealing with that for a while. But in terms of this current modern moment, she's very important, right? I mean, after her, you get, you know, I mean, like out of her space, you get like Duffy and Adele and like it's just a bunch of people. So I think that she's significant. But she's also dealing with appropriation in complicated ways. So like I'm gonna put her
above Ariana Grande.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Above Gladys Knight?
I think that's very unfair, but I'm going to do it.
Okay. Alicia Keys.
No.
You know, one thing that I think is interesting about sorry, what's her name? I know it. We literally just said it.
Amy Winehouse.
Amy Winehouse, thank you. The interesting thing about Amy Winehouse is you can play her songs and people who can't remember what she looks like or her name will know the song, which says something about her music, like or like her talent in singing and performing, etc. Which is kind of cool. Because it's like, oh yeah, this song, I fucking love this song. I don't know who this is because I cannot see their face.
I checked. That's Ella Fitzgerald.
I appreciate you checking for me because I was just about to be like, this is going to be an interesting Google search.
that's Ella Fitzgerald.
Okay, Ella Fitzgerald. You know what? I feel really bad about continuously doing this, but I'm going to put her immediately above Ariana Grande.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah,
I mean that's just fair.
Gladys Knight. So
here's the thing: Ella Fitzgerald is going to have to be way up there. She's really important.
Okay. Let's yardstick this then with Beyonce.
Yeah. Oh, she's above Beyonce without a doubt.
Okay. Whitney Houston?
Yeah.
Ooh. Dolly Parton.
Ooh.
Did I mess this up? Was Dolly Parton above? No. She was above. Yeah.
Oh, okay. This is really hard. If we had Billie Holiday, I'd rank Billie Holiday above Ella Fitzgerald. But we don't, and she's really our core central jazz diva here. And she does. Yeah. I think we're gonna have to place her at the top.
All the way?
Yeah.
Okay. We have an upset for Diana Ross? Sorry.
Yeah. Like I can't rank Diana Ross above Ella Fitzgerald. I can't do it. Like I just can't do that. If you've never heard, by the way, Ella Fitzgerald's cover of Sunshine of Your Love, you should hear it. It's amazing. Okay. It's amazing.
I'll add that to my thing. I don't know if I have or not. I'd have to hear it first,
It's amazing. Because you know the original, right? By Cream, right? You know, I've been waiting, like super heavy, like British blues band, right? Rock band, 60s, Cream, Eric Clapton, right? You know, I've been waiting so long to be where I'm going, in the sunshine of your love. Yeah.
I think I have heard. Yeah, I think I have heard Ella Fitzgerald doing that, and
it's amazing. Okay, so this is Etta James.
Oh, at last.
Mm-hmm.
My love has come around. One of my all-time favorite songs.
Mm-hmm. She's above Ariana Grande. Sorry, Ariana.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
That just is what it is. There's nothing we can do about that.
like we'll come back in 30 years and see how you stand,
Yeah.
Ariana.
So I'm gonna put her above Chaka Khan.
Okay.
But I think she can't go above Patti LaBelle,
Okay.
which is hard because Patti LaBelle. Yeah, I think that's hard. That's a hard one. That's a hard one.
Who's the person in front of Patti LaBelle?
Dionne Warwick.
Does she go above Dionne Warwick? Because I know she doesn't go past Patti LaBelle, but sometimes with like difficult ones like this, it's worth looking at a few people above. Like, are you putting Etta James below Lady Gaga?
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Does Lady Gaga go down and Etta James go up?
Okay, so this is what we're gonna do.
Yep. This is why I love tier listing like this, by the way. It's so interesting.
We're gonna put Patti LaBelle above Dionne Warwick.
Okay.
And then Etta James above Dionne Warwick.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, that's hard.
Yeah.
Because Etta James is
so
no, you
good.
have to put Dionne Warwick above Etta James. You have to do it.
Okay.
Because Etta James is there are a number of women who are doing what Etta James is doing in the 1950s.
Yeah.
Like there's a bunch of people doing R&B in the way that Etta James is doing it, whereas there were very few people doing what Dionne Warwick was doing. Which means we have to put we have to put Dionne Warwick back above Patti LaBelle. We have to do that.
Okay. We're going back to where we were.
Yeah, we just have to do that.
You keeping Lady Gaga above all of them? Above
we have to.
Okay. Hey, it's worth asking these things. We find stuff out, and
I might change my mind, but at the moment,
this is going to be like for me. This is one of my favorites on the list.
Lauryn Hill.
Lauryn Hill. Fuji la la.
So Lauryn Hill is really important for a lot of people in this sort of hip hop soul moment.
I hear a lot of bad things about her as a person, though, which is, I don't know the truth of that. Like, I make no judgments.
Cole Drake, she was in the Fugees. She did that. They did that cover of "Killing Me Softly" that was very popular.
Killing me softly with his song.
She's above Ariana Grande.
Oh yeah,
she's above. I mean, come on.
Gladys Knight. You know who'd be interesting to pit her against? Actually, is Alicia Keys.
Yeah, I totally get that.
Yeah.
That's the conundrum right there.
Yeah,
is Alicia Keys, because they're both in a kind of a like I actually would put what's her face above both of them. Mary J. Blige, I would put above both of them in terms of importance in that particular sort of subgenre.
Mary J. Blige, I feel, at least from my like English white perspective, didn't really impact the same way these two did, but maybe that's just what I was exposed to at the time.
Yeah, she opened the door for them. Like she was really sort of quite important. So I think we're going to put Lauryn Hill above Alicia Keys.
I would also, yes.
Yeah. But we're not going to put her above Chaka Khan.
See, yeah, that's fair. For me personally, I'd put both Alicia Keys and Lauryn Hill above Beyonce. But that's where it gets interesting because different perspectives and different impact and stuff. Because
I just think Lemonade.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I just think that, and also like Beyonce at Coachella. There are just some things that I just think that are just so...
you can't. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
And now we talk about the crazy Mad Donna.
Yeah. Well, she's above Beyonce.
Right. Okay. So she'll go here for now. Oh wait. Although also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I thought so. Beyonce's up on the next tier. Is she above Whitney?
That is really hard.
Yeah. Okay, let's see if we can help you with this. Is she above Dolly Parton?
No.
Okay, so then
Dolly Parton is too important in her genre. You know what I mean?
Yes, that's fair. In that case, it is Whitney and Madonna, and man, that's a hell of a fight, isn't it?
It's really hard.
For my own take, I feel like Madonna is amazing for her versatility and ability to stay relevant. I feel like because she's had to adjust her style and adjust, like Whitney Houston never really, to my mind at least, had to compromise her music and what she made because it stayed, it just stayed amazing. Whereas Madonna, to stay kind of mainstream, has adjusted how she does her music and etc.
So here's the thing: you could look at both of those things in two different ways.
Yes.
Right.
This is my own kind of yardstick, but yeah.
So, for example, the person who doesn't change could be they don't compromise, or could be they're stuck in a rut and they don't.
Yes.
They're not innovative.
Yes, they stagnate.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. They could be like they're not innovative. Like if you like them, you say that they're classic and they stay true to who they are. If you don't like them, you say they don't change.
Absolutely.
They're not genius. With Madonna, if you like her, you say that she's genius, right? And she's innovative. If you don't like her, you say she has no authenticity, right? So it just depends on people will the Rolling Stones have made the same album over and over again for the last 50 years, but people still think that they're brilliant because they stayed true to themselves. Other people stay true to themselves and people are like, oh, you're not interested anymore, right? So do we expect you to change or not change?
Or when Metallica shifted styles and everyone hated it.
Yeah.
Or everyone, inverted commas, everyone hated it.
Yeah. So I think here's one of the problems, right? In terms of importance. MTV needed Madonna and Michael Jackson. It was like MTV, like Madonna, Michael Jackson, and Prince helped craft the modern pop world.
Yes.
Right? And Madonna is especially important for dance, right? And for the role of dance in music, especially image. She's and her career, of course, she's really, really important. That said, Whitney is really important. Oh, and also the kind of different styles and there's a lot going on with Madonna. Whitney's really important when it comes to Black crossover because she's one of the artists that helped get Black music in the pop charts rather than just in the R&B charts, and that's really important as well. And Whitney Houston, paves the way for basically that entire kind of big power ballad style that we have right now. So they're both massively important. It is really hard.
Could I suggest a way to help you on this?
Please.
They're pretty much equal. So maybe it just comes down to which music you prefer. Personally,
can I just leave it there for the moment and come back to it?
Absolutely. And this is the thing is, maybe Taylor Swift will come along and make you go, oh, I prefer Taylor Swift to Madonna, but not to Whitney. Taylor Swift goes in between. Now I know. Yeah. Although I don't expect that to happen, but
so Taylor Swift is clearly above Ella Fitzgerald.
Ella Fitzgerald.
No, I'm messing with you.
Oh, sorry.
I'm just messing with you.
I forgot that Ella was up top, and I was like somewhere around here, mate, Etta James area.
I'm just messing with you.
But above Ariana Grande, right?
Oh yeah.
I feel like we're crapping on Ariana Grande.
I am not crapping on Ariana Grande. I'm just noting. Poor Ariana Grande. I feel bad for her.
I'm sorry. I take it back. I apologize.
I think Taylor Swift is actually. I think that people like to crap on her a lot, but I think that she's quite important as well, especially for her demographic.
And also, she, in a lot of ways, she may have, depending on whether you think that she compromised her origin and style and everything, but she really did make there is still a lot of stigma against country music.
Oh, definitely.
Also, if you're from the city or if you're from certain places, to like country music is to essentially be a redneck, which I feel is a little bit unfair because there's some great country songs.
Oh yeah. Also, people who say that often have no idea what they're talking about because they don't actually know country music. But
Yeah,
it's
they
not
don't
about
listen
actual
to.
country music.
Yeah.
And you know it's not about country music because they really love the "Oh Brother Where Art Thou" soundtrack because they think of that as being hip and progressive, right? And they'll like folk
I'm
and
a
they'll like
man of
bluegrass.
Oh goddamn, I love that stuff.
Yeah, but I'm just saying they're like I'm a hipster and I'm cool,
Yeah,
so I'll
yeah.
like basically all the stuff that is basically country but with a slightly different label. But then I won't like country.
It's like people who hate Nickelback. It's like
Yeah, yeah.
Nickelback have some good songs. I
Like
enjoy
they
Nickelback
did their
sometimes.
thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Animals, great Nickelback song. I love
Oh
that
yeah.
one.
So I'm gonna say now that I would rate Britney above Taylor Swift, but I would rate Taylor Swift pretty highly because I think she's done important things, especially
I
with
think that's fair.
exposing some of the intricacies of the music industry,
Yeah.
and her like re-recording that song that like that creepy Scooter Braun owns. So I think she's doing important things.
Yeah.
She's gonna be above Alicia Keys.
Okay. But not above Lauryn Hill?
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. Okay. Could you play Chaka Khan above Etta James?
Yes.
Thank you. Now you have to place Lauryn Hill above Etta James.
Oh, is Etta James becoming Space Wolves? Are we just moving Etta James down all the time?
And we have to place Taylor Swift above Etta James.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's an interesting question then. Etta James and Alicia Keys.
Place Alicia Keys above Etta James.
Okay.
And I know people love Etta James. I know it, but I'm just thinking about larger impact.
I love the music. That doesn't speak to everything.
Yeah.
So leave Taylor Swift below Lauryn Hill.
Yeah, because I'm thinking about like a bunch of different things in terms about people for whom these artists were really important to understand who they were, and right, like for whom, because like being a diva is not just about having a great voice, but it's also about having a group of people for whom, because like look, the word diva comes from the word divine, right? So a diva has a divinity about them, and that means they have people for whom they are worshipped. Do you know what I mean? Like, because those people are so important to them, right? Like people's lives have changed, right? Because they were dancing to Donna Summer in the disco and that meant everything to them. Or because, Lauryn Hill did this thing. So I think it's like, for me, what makes you an iconic diva is not just what your voice is like, it's also that, but also the impact you've had on people. Right? Like, because there are a bunch of people who have like great voices, but they haven't developed that kind of massive impact on people in the same way. Yeah. Okay, Britney.
Hit me, baby, one more time, 'cause the taste of your lips all over me.
Okay, so here we go.
Such an interesting career, to be honest.
Britney's above Lady Gaga.
Okay. Wow, she shot up. And I think that, like, 90s was, like, looking back at it, you could label Britney off as just, like...
I love the goat. Sorry, Krellin brought up the goat on I Knew You Were Trouble. Where's my goat? Here's my goat. Hold on.
Oh,
Are you ready?
I knew you would. What happened?
That was my goat. I have a screaming goat. Screaming goat.
We did hear it. It didn't.
Oh,
it didn't.
It didn't hit the. No. Maybe it'll come through. Come through.
Keep talking. Yeah, there we go. We got it.
That's my goat. So here's the thing about Britney, and this is really important because I think the next person on this list is Christina Aguilera.
Yes.
And people will always say.
I don't think there's much comparison between the two personally, but that's my own take again. Right.
People will say that Christina Aguilera is a better singer, right? And that Britney can't sing. That's the whole big thing. Like Britney can't sing and Christina's a much better singer. Like Christina's the better one, But and they will often say like, oh, Britney can't sing. I was like, but Britney is singing. Do you know what I mean? Like she's singing.
Yeah.
She's like and she doesn't sing in a massive gospel-y kind of belty way, but that's not the only way to sing.
No. And also like much more than Christina Aguilera. Britney's career is
Hmm.
essentially uh a l- like an a judgment on the like
Hmm. Yes.
like
Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
look at her career
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
see the exploitation in the music
Yeah.
industry
Yeah.
and the way it
Yeah.
messed her up, and child actors and
Hmm.
child
Hmm. Hmm.
performers, and
Hmm. Hmm.
like I would argue that she is one of the reasons for a lot of, not a lot of, but significant like cultural change
Yeah. Yeah.
in, just purely because
Yeah.
people have it like highlighted so
Yeah.
easily all the
Yeah.
fucked
Yeah.
up things.
Yeah. And
Um
I don't think we'd have the free Britney movement right now if
no.
Britney weren't important to people,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And I'm going to say a thing that is going to be a weird thing to say,
Okay.
and I hope you'll get it. I think that Britney is better at what she does than Christina is at what she does.
No,
Whether or not
absolutely
you
agreed.
like
Yeah.
whether or not you like what Christina does more than what Britney does is not
Yeah.
actually the point for me, in the sense that when I think about Christina, who's doing like a lot of melisma, big belt sort of gospel, sort of
Yeah.
inflected kind of stuff,
Yeah.
um, she if you've ever seen Christina Aguilera live, and listen, I love Beautiful. I think it's great.
Mm.
But if you ever see Christina Aguilera live, she does too much. She does too many.
Mm.
She does too many runs. When
When
when she's in the studio, clearly her producer's like, you need to knock that off. But when she doesn't have somebody telling her to knock it off, she does too much,
mm, when
which says to me
when
that she
you
doesn't
said
really
that,
understand it.
when you said that, it highlighted, like it explained to me in my mind why I rate Britney above Christina, which is
Yeah,
essentially
yeah,
like Britney hits it right in
yeah.
terms of like she does just enough but not too much,
Hmm.
and then
Hmm.
Christina is like extra, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
like
yeah.
in the very basic sense of the word, she's kind of extra.
Yeah, and I would say, like, for example, I think the really best comparison, right, is that so like
Yeah,
Christina is coming out of the Whitney Houston tradition, but she doesn't understand the Whitney Houston tradition,
yeah, she's yeah.
right? If you
She has the talent to do it, but not
yeah, yes,
necessarily the, you know,
the
reason or the
understanding.
need or understanding. Yeah,
Yeah, like if you go and you re-listen to "I Will Always Love You" by Whitney, she actually doesn't do that many runs.
there's nothing extra in there.
Like there are some, right?
Yeah,
But it's not as much as you think it is because she understands, oh, I should probably do it here, but not here, right? Like she keeps the melody very clear because 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 Whitney came out of the gospel tradition and she kind of knows,
can
whereas
can I
Christina grew up listening to
hmm,
Whitney and Mariah,
yeah,
thinking, oh, I should do it as much as possible.
yeah.
But then sometimes it loses the thread, you know?
If you say to someone, do Britney, they would go, hit me baby one more time,
Yep, yep.
or cause the taste of your lips are
Mhm. Yeah, that's a good one.
all good music and if you say do Christina, someone would probably go, whoa.
I would do "Ain't No Other Man" or I would do "Beautiful." But, like, yeah, I just feel like, there were, like, and look, for me, okay, do you know, it was, Lady Marmalade by Christina, Pink, Maya,
Oh, Maya.
uh, uh, Lil' Kim?
Okay. Wasn't that Eve? Was that Eve or was that Lil Kim?
I think it was Lil' Kim,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it
I think it
featured
was.
Missy
Yeah,
Elliott, right? And everyone was going on and on about how great Christina was in that, and I was like, "Actually, I think
yeah,
that Pink was better,
yeah.
actually." Right? Like, I
Pink,
think that
Pink,
Pink
Pink is an underrated gem in my
oh,
opinion.
totally underrated.
She
Uh,
is fucking sensational.
she's really good at what she does,
Yeah,
right? And for me, it's just about, like, I think personally, I think it's really important when you're sort of trying to assess people personally or anything, to try to assess it within the context of what it's trying to do, right?
yeah.
So, um I think about a review that I read that really solidified this attitude in my mind, and it was when Knights of the Old Republic came out. There was a review in the Game Informer that said that Knights of the Old Republic is not a great game because the graphics are not as good as Halo's graphics.
Mm,
And I was like, yeah, but they're different genres. Like Halo's like a 10-hour first-person shooter that's all about showing off the graphics, and Knights of the Republic is like a 40-hour RPG that's about sort of that's not it's just not trying to do that, right? And
yeah,
so
yeah.
thinking about, like judging KOTOR based on Halo standards is not fair. I mean, I could do the same thing to Halo. I'd be like, well, you know what, there wasn't enough character customization in Halo, so it sucked.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the point of Halo, right? So for me, I always try to figure out like what is this person
I mean,
trying
you couldn't
to
even
do?
go dark or light side, like choose
Yeah.
between.
Yeah, like
in
you couldn't do
Halo.
darker light side in Halo. It
No.
was clearly a bad game.
Terrible game. Hated it.
Right? And so for me, I try to think, okay, what is this thing trying
Also,
to
their
do?
sticky grenades don't stick. That doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make any sense. Right? And just like, I'm like, okay, and so I feel like sometimes I'm like, oh, right, okay, well, which one of these things is doing this thing that they're trying to do
Yeah.
as the best, right? Whether or not you like the thing or not is not really the point in some ways, but does it do this thing really well? And I do not think, even though Christina was really popular and she was like number 2 behind Britney, I don't think that she was doing the thing that she was trying to do as well as some other people, right? Not Britney even, because Britney's not trying to do that. But yeah,
for myself personally, I would put Britney just below Madonna and Christina Aguilera just below probably Alicia Keys. Because like those three, like Lauryn Hill, Taylor Swift, and Alicia Keys, they all did what they did really well.
Yes.
And like Britney is very, in a lot of ways, to me, very close to Madonna, but just she doesn't have the gravitas, the achievement, like she dropped off a lot. She had a lot of problems, and but that's just my thought on it. But
also Madonna did a new thing, right? Whereas Christina wasn't necessarily doing a new thing, which was, you don't have to always do a new thing. You could do a thing that's already existing and do it really, really well. I think I would put.
I think the important thing is that we drop Etta James down a bit more.
I think we're gonna put. I agree with you. We're gonna put Christina after Alicia Keys.
Yeah,
but before Etta James.
Yeah,
mainly because there are a lot of people who stand Christina hardcore.
Yes,
and I think that's important.
And that's fair. And obviously, that's just my take. You don't. I don't know whether you want to move Britney past where she is now. Like you got Beyonce, you have.
I think that's good at the moment. Now we have Celine Dion.
And finally, I can do the song that I thought was was Whitney Houston.
You did the wrong one. That was Whitney Houston.
Oh, for fuck's sake! It is. Yes, it was.
No.
In the
No.
My heart will
and
go on.
I will always love you. That's Whitney.
Yes, that's Celine, Whitney, and then
but
my heart will go on is Celine.
My heart will go on. Yeah, is Celine.
God damn it! Fuck! How did I mess up the mess up? That's so. Jeez.
Okay, so near, far, wherever you are. So Celine is a massive, iconic diva.
Beautiful voice, such a beautiful voice.
Also, multiple careers, right? Her entire French language career as well.
Is the yardstick Madonna maybe for like similar? I feel like the yardstick may be Cher in a way, but Cher hasn't come out yet, so.
Coldrake, I can think of a number of Celine Dion songs, right? Like Think Twice, My Heart Will Go On, the Beauty and the Beast one. She had like a bunch of like.
Yeah.
And also, it's also this. Another thing that I think is really important is that we have to think about the difference between, like, there are album artists as well as singles artists, and we shouldn't sleep on album artists. Krellin asks, what do you call a male diva? What is Meatloaf? Where's Sylvester? So here's the thing about male divas.
I have the answer.
There are almost none. Nice, diva. There are very few male divas because the term itself is a little bit based in. So the equivalent, and this is about sexism, right? The equivalent of a diva is a genius, right? I
feel like diva is its own category that men don't get because it's kind of equalizing out the bias towards dudes.
Yeah, and also because there's a way in which, depending on how you read it, I don't read it this way. I don't, because I think it's actually messed up. But people tend to. There is a way in which it is. People have. So a woman demanding that she get respect will be called a diva, i.e. difficult and maybe a problem.
Yes.
A dude saying, take out all the green M&Ms is like, well, that made sense, right? So there's a way in which men are allowed to, like, what's his face? The actor who was Batman. Christian Bale.
It's playing off the trope of hysterical women being all,
Yes. Yeah.
demanding and
Yeah.
like nagging wife
Yeah.
bullshit and all that
Yes,
stuff.
exactly.
Yeah.
So now women have taken that and made something out of it, right? But
While you just FYI, while you do this, think about Celine and also have to pee.
oh, please. But I think what ends up happening is that when you get men who are called divas, which happens very rarely, they're often feminized, right? So Sylvester will be called a diva, and or gay. So it's very like people don't tend to call Mick Jagger a diva. They think of him as like a rock god, right? And so even if you be uh, exhibit a lot of the same behavior, people will tend to judge you differently. But there are a couple of men, many of whom are gay or feminized, who might get a diva like Elton John, Sylvester. But like nobody called Elvis a diva. They wouldn't call Elvis diva or Mick Jagger or yeah. So it's a little tricky. It's a little tricky. Yeah, diva came from opera. Um, Prince is sales. They're not going to call Prince a diva. They'll call him a genius. They will go on and on about how he's a genius because he plays the guitar. Like they don't tend to call Prince a diva because they right because it's like there's a and also there are very few women who get called geniuses. So you just kind of like think about like what terms do people use and why. Um, what's going on with that? Yeah, so they tend not to call Prince a diva. They tend to call him a genius. Sometimes if you are a man and you exhibit a lot of diva behavior, they might just call you eccentric rather than a diva, but yeah, I just think it's interesting. Yeah, I feel like some people tried to feminize Prince, but he was such a sex symbol that it never stuck. Also, I think yeah, the last one I saw called a genius was yes, Carole King, and you will notice that Carole King is almost never called a diva. I think because of her genre, right? We don't tend to think of folk or singer-songwriters as divas because we don't tend to associate that genre. It's just like a style thing. Hey, Prax. I love the monkey, and they didn't know how to play. Well, that's not necessarily true, Cole. Mickey Dolenz could play drums because he was in a band beforehand. Mike Nesmith was able to play because he was in a band beforehand. I think Peter was also in a band beforehand and could play his instrument. And Davy Jones plays tambourine. So actually, they were doing stuff. It's just that.
Do we have any thoughts on Celine?
Oh yeah, so Celine is going to be a hard, tricky thing.
Yeah.
Celine is above Lady Gaga without a doubt.
That is fair. I feel. I feel like she's above Britney, to be honest.
Yeah, she's above Britney because of the category that she ends up manifesting.
Yeah. Is this like a Madonna, Whitney, Celine off, or are we thinking maybe below Beyonce?
I think she's below Beyonce, but I think she's above Donna Summer.
Okay.
Which is rough, but I think that's what we have to do.
No, I mean,
I think that's what we have to do.
Share,
my friend, share. Ooh, share. That's hard. Cher has had hits in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. She's had hits in like
she's had hair.
Hits in,
yeah.
In multiple decades. One of our few Armenian stars. Ooh.
Aren't System of a Down Armenian, or am I wrong on that? System of a Down.
Ooh, that's a good question. I think they are actually.
Oh look.
Cher is above Celine Dion.
They are Armenian. Okay. Oh, did she not go above Beyonce?
I don't think she does.
Ooh.
And the reason why is because Cher represents a particular kind of post-Stonewall diva who is a bit more overt about her gay fan base. But there are a number of divas who fall within this category. There's like Bette Midler, Barbara Streisand. So there's like a oh, by the way, I saw Cher live a couple years ago. She was amazing. Yeah, just like 2 or 3 years ago, I saw her live, and she's like 70 something or whatever. And she was phenomenal. Like she was really, really good. And
Um,
she was a successful actress who was Oscar nominated for Prax Notes,
mm,
and she won her Oscar, and she was great in Silkwood and Mask. It was really hard for her to get those Oscars because Hollywood doesn't tend to like to reward singers because they distrust them.
yeah,
But
yeah.
she's very good.
Serge Tankian, Tankian? I can't remember. Is Armenian, but the entirety of System of
Oh.
a Down are Armenian Americans. Yeah. Also,
Uh,
just to add some weird perspective into this, I myself personally, I would put Cher below Ariana Grande for the very pure reason of I have never heard a Cher song I like personally.
oh, interesting.
Whereas I've heard a couple of Ariana Grande songs I
Mm,
can like bump to and jive with. Like
mhm.
Cher, I've just never liked her music, and so
And also, Cher was also with Sonny and Cher, so she has like double career as well.
yeah.
Yeah. Um, yes, yes. So I'm gonna have to put her there. Also, she has such a huge audience with a big impact as well. So it's like it's that's hard. That's tricky. But
Okay, so
I think yeah.
next up for fans of Fairly Odd Parents is Timmy Turner.
Ah, yes. So
I hope you like that cut.
she I did, I did. She is clearly she's above Whitney Houston.
hmm Was it Tina Turner who sung "I Need a Hero"?
No, that's Bonnie Tyler.
Crap.
She sang "We Don't Need Another Hero."
Right.
Um, mm, Dolly and Tina for me are very similar.
Mm.
It may not seem like it, but they're very similar in many ways to me in terms of struggle and importance and impact genre wise. Oh, that's really hard.
They're kind of all signs of their times, kind of thing.
They're both really important. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? They're both really, really
Mm.
important. Um, I cannot really rank them right now. I'm gonna have to keep them right there because they're both really, really important in ways that are really hard to um
It feels like 6 to 15 is eventually going to become the unrankables with like
yeah.
um, Madonna, Tina Turner, Dolly Parton, Whitney Houston, and you're all like, they're all on exactly the same level for me, kind of, in a little bit.
Yeah.
So that could be interesting. We could revisit it at the end.
Yeah. Because she's like both of them are really, really important. So I'm gonna leave them there for the moment.
I
Um
also want to say, just for added drama and tension, the
mm,
next two artists up, I have a weird secret love for. So,
oh.
so be careful where you rank them. Mariah Carey.
Now Krellin puts Dolly over Tina, but only because of her non-music work.
Mm,
And I totally get that. I totally get
that's
that.
fair.
She's done
Yeah.
yeah, that's totally fair. Um so here's the thing about Mariah Carey.
Mm?
I'm gonna tell you a couple of things that are complicated. She was ranked she was voted Artist of the Millennium by I think it was like the World Music Association or by Billboard. Um,
Well, I don't agree with that. But again,
they voted her the best artist from the year 1000 to the year 2000 for that 1000 year time span. Whitney Houston, I'm sorry, Mariah Carey is apparently the best artist in that 1000 year time span,
no,
which I think is ridiculous.
that is ridiculous. Yes, that
I
sounds
just feel like
pandery and bullshit.
right? Like, come on, what are you talking about? Now, she has had an insane amount of number one hits,
Mm-hmm.
um, but some of that had to do with a little bit of weird accounting when it came to single sales.
Mm.
Um, so that's a little bit tricky.
Maybe a
Um,
finger on the scales every now and then.
what they did was they basically her record label uh, decreased the cost of the singles so that it sort of boosted sales, but nonetheless, that's not the big point.
Mm.
She has a number of hits, a number of really good things. She is important, but here's the thing. Whitney Houston does what Mariah Carey is doing better than Mariah Carey does. There is no way in my mind that you can put Mariah Carey above Whitney Houston.
I'll give a little bit of my own personal take as well, because I feel like this will. I would put, as much as I love Mariah Carey, like secretly, and no one knows about it, so don't tell anyone.
All right.
I would still put her just above Christina Aguilera, because for me, she does what Christina Aguilera does, but better. And
yes, that's true.
But she doesn't.
Absolutely.
She doesn't have, for me at least, she doesn't have the integrity of like Alicia Keys, Taylor Swift, Lauryn Hill, and there's no way I'd put her past like Chaka Khan and Lady Gaga, etc. That's my thoughts on it. And I'm always down for moving Etta James lower, because that's what we're doing now.
I like where she's at right now, but I agree with you, right? Like, clearly she does what Christina's doing better. But I don't, I would,
would you like to move Ariana Grande out of Lost? Like, just leave Mariah Carey down the bottom there?
No, because Mariah is still more important than Ariana Grande. So we're gonna, I'm gonna put her where you would put her, in between Alicia Keys and Christina Aguilera.
Oh, in that case, I'm glad I could help.
Yeah, that's where I put her.
And next up, I haven't seen everyone on this list completely, but possibly my favorite on the list for reasons
Kelly Clarkson?
Yeah, when I was growing up, I loved all of Kelly Clarkson's songs.
She's got a lot of great songs.
They every time I listen to a Kelly Clarkson, especially since You've Been Gone.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Like, I heard her music and heard her songs, and every time they just belted me. I was just like, fucking, yeah!
So, Kelly Clarkson's interesting. So there are a couple of things I think are fascinating about Kelly Clarkson we have to take into account when we decide where to rank her.
Wasn't she the first X Factor winner or something?
American Idol.
American
Idol winner.
Yep. She's basically the first singing reality show winner, pretty much.
Yeah.
And
that's really important.
The only one who really benefited from it, basically.
Oh, no. We had a couple, like her and what's her face, who did Before He Cheats, Carrie Underwood. Fantasia Barrino did well in the Black community. Like, certain people did, right? But here's the thing. One, her being the first American Idol makes her important in terms of like marking a huge shift in our industry. That's important. In terms, like, she's got a great voice, although they made her basically be a knockoff Aretha, which is not the greatest because she's a lot more range than that. But for a while, that was what was going on.
Well, so in those reality shows, they often did that, didn't they?
They often did, and people had a lot more range than they would let you have.
Yeah.
The other thing I would say is, she did an album called, I think it was like My December. I think it was. It was like maybe her third album, maybe. And that was where she wrote all the music. And it was a bit gothier, a bit darker. And she was like, this is what I want to do. And her record company's like, no, we want you to do what you've always done. And she's like, I don't want to do that. I want to do this. And I'm going to do it. And they're like, okay. And so then they put the album out and then didn't promote it at all. They didn't promote it. So the sales were quote unquote bad, still really good, mind you. But they basically kind of used that to force her back to where they wanted her to be. But she's clearly trying to she's trying to do her stuff. Do you know what I mean? And like, respect for her. And she's got a good voice.
In your opinion, was the music better than what she'd been doing before, or like for yourself?
Different. Okay.
Not really.
I don't know.
Not really comparable.
It was a bit more emo in a way that I thought was kind of cool, but I don't think her record company did. And what's interesting is that I said this to some people, right, about changing your style, is that record companies often hire you for something, right? If like Lady Gaga is able to change her style all the time because that's what they want from her. Do you know what I mean? But some artists, they don't want you to change your style because that's not what they hired you for, right? So like when George Michael decided to go from more pop to sort of blue-eyed soul, his record company was not happy with that because that's not what they hired him for.
It's not where the money is for them, like guaranteed money, basically.
Guaranteed money, because record execs don't have a lot of imagination. They're fairly conservative because they lose money so much. And they're like, well, this works, so don't change it, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if what that means is that you change your style every album, well, that works, so they want you to keep doing that. Yeah. If what works is that you do this, then when you do that, now that sometimes that works for the artist and sometimes it doesn't, and it, you know, can be a problem. So I think that she's got a great voice. She was really important in that particular era of hers. She marks a new change of system. Uh, I feel like we're going to have to place her.
I may do the same thing, and I'd say I'd put her just above Mariah Carey, but below Alicia Keys.
This is tricky. I want her in that range, right?
Yeah.
Like I want her in that range.
Yeah.
But the question is she above Mariah? That's the question.
Okay.
Is she above Christina?
Let's put her just in front of Etta James.
So here's my thought. She's above Etta James because there were a lot of people who are like Etta James.
Yeah.
Etta James is great, but there are people who are like Etta James.
Does that maybe put the person, I can't remember her name again, the person below Etta James above Etta James?
Try to make me go Amy Winehouse. No, I think Amy Winehouse is pretty derivative.
Okay.
Really in the end. So like she's great. She's got hits and all, but
does that move Amy Winehouse down below Gladys Knight maybe then?
No, because Amy Winehouse was still really influential in terms of kicking off like a whole movement.
That's fair.
Even though even though I'm like, you know, it's like Duffy is cool and all, but like, come on. But all right, let me think. I say we put Kelly Clarkson above Christina, even though some people might freak out.
I agree.
Because
you have my support so far.
Yeah. Wow. Mariah versus Kelly Clarkson is hard. That's really hard. My instinct is to put Mariah above Kelly Clarkson.
I understand why.
I don't know how I feel about it, but I'm going to keep it there for now. I might change my mind.
Okay. I mean, you know, you've lost my respect, but I understand.
Oh no.
But then again,
I'll
put Demi Lovato. But I just want to say, then again, I'm very upset with you that Etta James has not yet fallen below Ariana Grande yet, because that's like you've seen chat getting in on the meme and everything. Like it's now a running joke. If I will be pushing for Etta James to be below Ariana Grande, so just be aware of that as we go.
Jer noted that he thinks that Mariah and Clarkson bring a lot of the same things, but to different generations, and I think that's fair, actually.
Yeah.
Different
entry points as well, which is interesting.
And I think I can sort of flip flop a little bit, but I haven't decided yet.
Okay.
So Demi Lovato has to go above Ariana Grande.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because of the ways in which there are people who have eating disorders and who are in her age range for whom her fall and her talking about mental health has been really important.
Yeah.
So I kind of think that her coming out as bi and talking about mental health has been important for... I think there are more people who identify with her than identify with Ariana Grande.
You know what? In that instance and through that thought pattern, I could say it would be interesting to have Demi and why can't I remember her name? Jeez. Derivative just these two. Just pure,
Amy Winehouse.
Amy Winehouse, because like there's a certain especially for women being like frank and fairly blunt and etc. Can be like for the public view can be very so. I was thinking like those two, but I don't know whether she goes above Gladys Knight. So
she doesn't go above Gladys Knight. She just can't.
Okay,
there's no way. She can't.
Okay.
Lizzo.
I don't know who Lizzo is.
Lizzo's a big deal.
Really? Like,
Lizzo's a big deal.
It kind of in the last 5 to 10 years?
In the last two or 3
well, that's
years.
why I don't know who she is. Okay.
Yeah, she's really important. Lizzo's really big. This is gonna be tricky because I just was watching a video essay about CNC Music Factory. It was really about Martha Wash,
Mm.
you know, who was like, she was part of the Weather Girls. She sang "It's Raining Men,"
Yes.
but she was like she was the voice of basically all that Eurodance, like, you know, everybody dance, right. That was her. Also Black Box, like a bunch of these things, but they always like they got her voice. Oftentimes they hired her as like demo artist,
Mm.
and then they just used her voice, and they would have some hot model be the person in the video,
Yeah.
and not really pay her. And so she ended up suing. There's a big deal, right? And when in this interview, they were interviewing her recently, and she's talked about how when she was coming up as a fat woman, nobody wanted to see her, right? So they just kept putting these hot models on the video and saying that these hot models sang the parts when they didn't. And then she mentioned Lizzo, saying that Lizzo is out there repping for like fat women and body acceptance and body positivity. And it was like really, really important that she was really happy to see Lizzo be able to actually be out there
Yeah.
in a way that she wasn't able to, in this really sketchy way. And by the way, Martha Wash won all of her court cases. And, you know, like she was like, because people were being sketch. And so I think Lizzo has to be ranked highly. She's very new. She's very new. But when I think about her importance to people, she has to be up there.
Britney Spears, kind of.
Yeah.
Like that. Like, should we say Lady Gaga and then kind of go from there?
Yeah.
Is that fair? Would you put her above Chaka Khan?
Absolutely. I'd also put her above Lady Gaga, I think.
Okay. Britney.
Even though Lady Gaga is a really good body of work. I'm gonna put her above Britney.
That's fair.
This is very blasphemous, I know.
Well, I mean, this is like, again, you're judging it on Diva, not on just music, right? So
yeah, I'm doing both.
There's other factors. I mean, like go to like Celine. You know, is she?
Yeah.
Is she above Celine?
No, I don't think she is.
I'm not sure who the person behind Celine is.
Donna Summer.
Donna, is she above Donna?
Disco Diva. Here's the thing about Donna Summer.
Right.
Donna Summer, besides being the disco diva, really important that way, right?
Yeah.
Also did the song I Feel Love with Georgia Moroder, which leads the way to a lot of electronic dance music, because that was all synths. And some of her work there, I think, was really important.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I feel like this is a little bit unfair, and I try not to do this. Like, I'm trying really hard not to do this in terms of longevity. I think for the moment, we'll keep Donna Summer above Lizzo.
That's fine. Yeah.
For the moment.
It's hard to especially like newer people who you don't know their longevity. You know, you don't know how impactful they will actually be when all's said and done. Whereas you can take like Aretha Franklin or Etta James, and you can judge their impact and how much they've managed to achieve. And I think there's going to be a few people in here, like Billie Eilish will probably be an interesting one to do. For now, we'll talk about Miss Booty. I mean, sorry, Nicki Minaj.
Ooh, Nicki Minaj is tough.
Like personality wise, yeah, she's kind of tough.
No, I mean in terms of how to rank her,
yeah.
I think she's very difficult.
I've heard she's very difficult. Sorry, you keep throwing me softballs.
I know. And what's tricky for me is that when I think about really important female MCs, right, female rappers, I want to go a bit earlier than her.
I think Eve and
I mean, I want to go with Salt and Pepper. I want to go with MC Light.
Yeah.
Right. Roxanne Shantae. There are a bunch of people who are like in that 80s moment that I think are really important.
You can kind of tell that whoever made this list was like grew up in the 2000s.
Yes, absolutely.
Because they're missing out like Salt and Pepper.
Yeah. Yes.
You know, like there's a couple of people who I don't see in here.
Queen Latifah. Like where's like, I mean, look, in terms of sort of significance, I would have to rank Queen Latifah above Nicki Minaj.
They do have Missy Elliott, luckily. So
Luckily.
yeah,
Now, Nicki Minaj is important because she's part of this sort of slightly newer generation that
yeah,
has made a big impact.
and she's a very talented
And she's a very talented
MC.
MC.
Yeah.
And she was doing kind of new things that were interesting. And I think that
She's
like,
also like, if this, I would argue, if this was purely rap, she would be near the top, because
yeah,
she is
yeah,
actually a yardstick for all
yeah,
rappers, female rappers especially,
yeah,
coming up, and people go
yes,
like, are they as
yeah,
important as Nicki? Do they reach the
yeah,
heights of
yeah,
Nicki?
yeah.
In
Now
this
part of that,
instance, however, it's like very,
it's,
very
now I
watered
would
down
say,
because of all the other people on the list.
yeah, but I would also say that's tricky because part of that is because hip hop memory has forgotten like the late 70s and the entire 80s.
Yeah.
So it's very tricky that there are a lot of like, I will just say, Queen Latifah is more important than Nicki Minaj. Like, I'm just gonna say
Yes.
that in terms of historically,
Yes.
but people no longer think about Queen Latifah anymore. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so there's like
Yeah.
a bunch of really important people from uh like for a lot of my students, their memory of hip hop starts with Biggie and Tupac. Like, and you know what I mean? Like, and they don't even really know the 90s very well. It's like Biggie and Tupac, and then they kind of move forward from there, but they miss out on a bunch of other people who are
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
And so Nicki Minaj is really important and she's very good. But part of this has to do with the fact that we have sort of dumped some other artists and not talked about them. And I think that's kind of problematic. Like
Yeah.
we're talking about Nicki Minaj, but we're not talking about like Nina Cherry. Do you know what I mean? And so, uh, or a bunch of other people, right? So I just think for the ways in which people measure everybody against her, she is important. So she has to be ranked highly. But it makes me sad that
Mia.
we. It makes me sad that there are a like I would rank her higher than Lil Kim. You know, I mean, like so. Anyway, yes, it's just tricky, and I
Actually,
would
quite
have to.
there's quite a few songs from Lil Kim that I really enjoy, and
Oh, me too.
I would also say like Nicki Minaj compared to Lil Kim for me is like comparing Christina Aguilera and Britney a little bit, where
Yeah,
it's
they're
like,
very hard to compare.
yeah,
Yeah. Also, but like so, I think with Nicki, right, it's kind of like the sex positive female rapper,
yeah,
right? Hypersexualized female rapper who's trying to like take agency.
and it runs into the question of, do they actually take it, or do they play into it, or like,
You can never answer those questions, really.
no, there's no answer. I'm just yeah.
Yeah. Uh,
And then you've also got like talking about people on it and not on the list, is like you have someone like Brandy, who's a singer but also did
yes.
stuff like
Yes.
Moesha,
Yes.
and I feel like
Yeah. Yeah.
her impact as Moesha is
Yes.
super
It's really
important,
big. It's really big.
even if her as Brandy wasn't as important.
Except that she was really in the R&B scene as well.
Oh
So
yeah,
like
yeah,
she's
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
and of course they're like people who are around her, like in her circle. I think she's the most important of her circle. Do you know what I mean? Like there was like Brandy and she did a duet with I can't remember her name.
The Boy Is Mine. It's
Yes, yes.
Brandy and, oh god damn, why do I not remember her name?
You know who I'm thinking of.
Yeah, I know exactly who it is, but
Hmm.
Brandy and, I want to say Carl, but I'm pretty sure it's not Carl.
No.
Brandy and Carl, The Boy Is Mine. Yeah, that's classic.
Oh,
You know, I'll search it for you. Keep going.
thank you. So Nicki Minaj
Monica.
Monica, thank you.
There we
Thank
go.
you. Like I would rank Brandy above Monica,
Yeah.
right? So it's like clearly the NSYNC and the Backstreet Boys are gonna be ranked higher than most of those boy bands. Like
Yeah.
just right. Tricky.
Let's talk about sex, baby.
It depends on whether or not you're from the UK or not.
Yeah.
Because I actually think that Take That should be ranked really highly. But Americans don't know Take That, so that's
yeah, that's I was also never a fan of Take That, but they did have a massive.
They were really important, right?
They were, yeah.
Yeah.
I would rate Spice Girls above Take That though.
Oh, I would too. I think the Spice Girls are actually really quite important and interesting.
Yes, me too.
Yeah.
I never really liked their music that much, but
Although Wannabe's a banger, just
yeah. Well, Wannabe is a banger the same way like Genie in a Bottle is a banger, in the sense that like
absolutely.
there's no way you can't dislike it, but at the same time you don't have to like it because it's like.
So we're gonna put Little Kim above Dionne Warwick.
Oh, just below Lady Gaga.
Mm-hmm.
My God, I'm so happy I'm learning.
Now the question is, do I want her above Lady Gaga? This is gonna have implications.
Yep.
Mm.
Let's do something a bit better, a bit more appropriate, and put her up against Lizzo. Lizzo. Because they're both a bit more contemporary.
Yeah. So here's the thing: Nicki Minaj has a longer career.
Yeah.
So people would put her. I think a lot of people would put her above Lizzo.
Yeah.
But I actually don't want to.
That's fair.
Mainly because I think, that's really hard. Put her above Lady Gaga.
Okay. I find if you go up a couple of steps and compare them to someone else, it helps you like rank someone.
Yeah.
A bit lower down.
I'm gonna keep it there for a moment.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna keep it there for a moment.
TLC. How could TLC not be on this list?
TLC's not on this. I mean, I just again, right?
Like you could even break it down to like the members of TLC and rank them separately. You know, like.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. I mean, it's just okay.
I always remember Lisa Left Eye, Chili, and I can never remember the third. T-Boz, thank you.
Also, this list is clearly made by an American, but that's like, you know who's not on this list?
I mean, yeah. Adele? Wait, is Adele on this list?
Adele could be on this list because she is big in the United States, but I don't see her. But
how the hell is how is Adele not on the list?
I don't know. Like, she should totally be on the list. Like, Adele should be on that list. Adele is massive, right?
Yeah.
What's her face? Dame Shirley Bassey's not on this list, right? Shirley Bassey. Okay. Okay. Cardi B.
That girl? Oh, that's Cardi B. I didn't even know who this was. I was trying to look on her forehead because I was like, did she write her name on her forehead? I can't.
Cardi B is above Christina Aguilera.
Okay. Etta James moves down yet again.
I know. So Cardi B
did you pause?
Comes from reality TV, right?
Yeah.
But she has massive hits, and I gotta tell you,
massive hits. Okay,
like
cool.
she.
Sorry, you cut out slightly, Adora.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, she has massive hits. She is very interesting. She doesn't have she dislodged Taylor Swift. That was a whole big deal. She's really important in terms of, for a lot of people from the current moment. But I can't. She has a huge following, Cardi B. Her flow's really interesting. She was a. Okay, I have to say, anyone else just realized we've been here almost 6 hours without really noticing? What? Ava, it's been like 2 hours. What?
I'm sorry. Yeah, it's we can speed up if you like.
I think we're gonna keep her there. We're gonna have to put her above Kelly Clarkson. Yeah.
Oh, you're wounding me on purpose at this point.
I'm so sorry. But she can't be above Mariah. That's it.
No, that's fair. And also, you know, obviously, I'm just joking about you wounding me, although not really.
No, sometimes I wound people. It's what I do.
Miley. David Bowie.
David Bowie. Miley.
Sorry, I don't know why. I should have gone with who sang who sang In the Midnight Hour? Billy Idol.
Billy Idol.
I should have gone with Billy Idol.
So Krellin asks, is Nicki bigger than Cardi? And I think that Cardi has surpassed Nicki in terms of current popularity, but I think that it would be hard to have a Cardi without a Nicki.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I feel like
Trailblazer kind of stuff.
Yeah. So Miley Cyrus.
Nicki Minaj trailblazed, I would argue, the majority of current female rappers
I think that's true.
and MCs at this point. Like,
I
whereby
think that's true.
I'm sure they would have made some headway. But I don't know whether they would have actually, the people who are popular now may not have been popular without Nicki.
Yeah, especially in terms of
Very
crossover
important.
success as well.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And like in terms of actually being on the pop chart. So I think that's really big. Although Cardi B is nobody to sleep on. And I think in certain ways, like we could see her go up there. So,
I don't want us to end up, going on for 12 hours or whatever, but I'm also okay with it. But do you remember Yo-Yo?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. No, I was just sorry because we were talking about like like the older.
Oh yeah.
I was like, God damn, I totally forgot about Yo-Yo.
Look, I love Moni Love's flow, but okay, so Miley Cyrus for me is not as important as Kelly Clarkson.
No.
So I just want you to know that.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I mean, I don't think she's as important as Christina Aguilera either.
No, I don't think so, and I don't think she's as important as Amy Winehouse either.
Oh, is Etta James gonna beat someone finally?
Yes.
Gladys Knight.
Well, that's hard.
Miley Cyrus for me is kind of and I know this is going to sound harsh, and I don't mean it in like a like stamping on Miley Cyrus kind of way, but I'd compare to like Paris Hilton, but of the music industry.
So here's the thing.
Where I'm just not sure, like aside from, a few connections, I'm not sure why she's famous or successful.
So the thing is that she's part of, her, and you can tell this is a person from the 2000s, right?
Yeah.
So Miley, Demi Lovato, Ariana Grande, Selena Gomez, those that's four of them, are all from the same generation, right? They're all basically this one Disney group from around this exact same time period. Yeah. And out of all of them, Miley's had the biggest impact. So Miley has to be ranked above Selena Gomez, Demi Lovato, and Ariana Grande.
Yeah.
Like she just has to.
I'd say they were all kind of like 2.0s of Britney and Christina and the 90s pop idols,
Krillin, she was in a Disney show. She was in, she didn't have this show, wasn't, I don't think her name, but she was in one of them.
She's not the one who was like an undercover person who, no, that was someone else. That was oh god damn it, now that's gonna annoy me. Sorry, carry on. Ignore me.
Yeah, so I think that she was really one of the first ones out of that particular crew. Yeah, so I think we have to put Miley Cyrus above, right, this particular group. So, but below Amy Winehouse.
And then there's just Gladys Knight to
I'm going to have to rank her above Gladys Knight, even though I like Gladys Knight more. Yeah. Because I think Miley Cyrus has had more of an impact.
She has had some impact, yeah. She's done done things. And we're almost onto the top 5. Which is worrying for me because there's more than 5 left. So I'm like, oh, we're gonna have to drop Ariana Grande into the Ariana Grande section.
Miss Taugs, you're right. I think she was in Victorious. I think that is correct. Yes. Nickelodeon. Thank you. So here's Missy Elliott.
I put my thing down for a bit and reverse it. Although my favorite is Sock It To Me. My favorite Missy Elliott song.
Oh. Yeah, we're gonna put her
Suck It To Me Like You Want To.
Above Lizzo.
Ooh, okay.
And I'm putting her above Nicki Minaj as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like you kind of have to.
Yeah.
Like Missy, I would actually put with Madonna in the sense that she's managed to keep, like, because I feel like she's more important than Beyonce, and she's been more relevant for longer and managed to like stick with it and do like interesting things successfully, and like I would guess she's probably also responsible for the rising up of people behind her as well.
Yeah,
because she really trailblazed.
And also she was doing a very different sort of type,
I mean, she's
above her though.
Like she was a bigger lady. She
Yep.
was doing it in a time where it was more
Yep.
difficult to
Yep.
be like hopefully this isn't like offensive or anything, but like she had a masculine energy where it was like I don't give a
Yep.
fuck if I'm pretty.
Yep.
I'm
Yep. That's right.
gonna I'm gonna rock this shit, and people
Yep.
loved her for
Yep.
it.
Yep. Put her above Celine Dion.
Yeah.
That's what I would say right now.
Okay.
Does she go above Cher? That's tricky.
I would say yes, but as I said, I'd face her off against Madonna for myself, just because there's a lot of similarities, even though they're so different in.
Yeah, but I kind of think at this moment we have to keep Beyonce above Missy, even though I like Missy more than I like Beyonce.
Yeah.
But I think in terms of impact, put Missy above Cher.
Okay.
Only because Cher is one of a couple of people in her lane. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there are a couple of people in her lane, and I think that other people were in Cher's lane, and so I want to put Missy above Cher in terms of impact within her lane. But
even taking like Eve and Lil Kim and etc. Like Missy almost is in a different lane to them too, because she had her own style and her own thing, and you know, like her own vibe going on, which I always really appreciated with Missy. And what I'm gonna do, like, don't mind me, carry on. But what I'm gonna do is I have a Missy Elliott remix song I think you'll enjoy, so I'm gonna find that and send it to you after we're done here.
Yeah, I just think that Missy Elliott is. I don't think we could have Nicki without Missy, and I think that Missy for me marks a shift in hip hop styles, right? So working with Timbaland and her videos being really, really innovative. Like, there's just a lot there for Missy that I think is really important.
I often compare her to Busta Rhymes a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know how, you know, but it's just like a connection I have in my head, I guess.
Yeah, and she also, I would say, is important in bringing dance back into hip hop, because hip hop was kind of moving away from dance for a while, and she sort of brings it back in. And I think so. I think she's really important.
I don't know who the next person up is.
Lana Del Rey.
Oh. I have no real. I might like. Sorry. Apparently, I'm losing my voice. I put Ariana Grande above her just because she has no impact on me personally, but that's just my own.
Lana Del Rey.
Yeah.
I am going to put Lana Del Rey above Ariana Grande.
Okay.
Because Lana Del Rey's in a very different zone. She's kind of
Can you name a song that Lana like? Because not
video games.
I don't know.
There's like a whole crowd of people who are super into Lana Del Rey.
Yeah. I don't recognize.
She's kind of moody. She's kind of sing over here. She's like very like weirdly subdued. Play a video game.
That sounds.
It's all.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Everything you do.
That's
tell me all the time.
That is very much the type of song I hear on the radio, and I go, oh, I kind of like this song, and immediately switch to something else because I'm like, I'm not in the mood for that.
She reminds me a little bit in some ways of Billie Eilish, but a little bit different. Like, she's kind of like, people kind of think of her as being a little deep, but she's kind of moody and atmospheric.
Pisces. I'm kind of shallow when I'm deep.
Right? Like, yeah.
That's another Wretch Tree 2 line for you.
Let's put her above Selena Gomez.
Above Selena? Where's Selena?
I'm sorry, above Demi Lovato, pardon me.
Oh, above, okay, yeah. I think that's fair.
Yeah, I think that's fair. But I'm not going to put her above Gladys Knight.
No.
Okay. I'm good with that.
Yeah. Okay. Here's an interesting one, which I will probably have a very hurtful opinion on.
So Billie Eilish goes above Demi Lovato.
Okay. I already disagree, but fair enough.
Mainly because Miley Cyrus takes that zone that Demi Lovato is also in.
Yeah.
And Miley Cyrus does it more successfully than Demi Lovato. And Billie Eilish is in a different zone. So we put Billie Eilish above Demi Lovato.
Just to put out my take on it, so maybe this will help you or make your choice seem better. For me, Billie Eilish is like Britney Spears of the modern age without our ability to look at Britney Spears' career. Where she is so fetishized in a inverted commas positive way, I feel like it's going to destroy her. The same way it kind of happened to and
you know who this year reminds me of now? Actually, it's kind of weird. I'm going to say a name because you just put her with Britney, and you sort of described this process of fetishization and pressure.
Yeah,
she reminds me a little bit of Karen Carpenter, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, which is weird, but you know,
like to me, and especially with the most recent, like because I saw it on Twitter, obviously everyone did.
Yeah.
There's the spread of her in like and I'm like, oh, okay, so she's out of the starter Britney moment, and she's kind of moved on to like toxic kind of era. And like you see everyone shouting like yay, she's so pretty, she's so wonderful, she's so amazing. I'm just waiting for everyone to turn and to like call her crazy and make her shave her head.
Absolutely.
So like for me, Britney Spears is up high because she went through all that shit, and we can look back on it and learn from it. What I see from Billie Eilish, the reason why I'd even put her below Ariana Grande is for Billie Eilish, it's like all the bad things I can see coming and that are currently happening, and I'm like, I can't rate her high because she actually has negative impact, and she has negative like good things to
except that for the people who are of her generation, she's very important.
Yes, that's fair. Like I'm talking about this as an old man, so
what I would say is take Gladys Knight, put her below Billie Eilish.
Okay. And below the one I can't remember.
Lana Del Rey versus Billie Eilish is tricky.
Okay.
Tricky. But I've decided we're going to put Lana Del Rey above Miley Cyrus.
Okay.
And I say that because because in many ways, Billie Eilish, Miley Cyrus, Christina Aguilera, a number of these people are kind of in the kind of Annette Funicello, right? The Disney, there's a particular sort of narrative. And so I feel like, but just for different generations. So we'll put them there is what we'll do. That's what we're going to do. Yeah.
Like this?
Yeah.
Okay. Mariah Carey moves up. Lizzo moves up. And Aretha Franklin moves up. And I'm glad.
I'm going to note we don't have like, I'm going to just note that we have no Sinead O'Connor in here. We have no like Susie Sue in here. We don't have like, there's just like a bunch of person who made this list probably from the 2000s.
I mean, I think we know that for sure at this point, just talking about it.
Yeah.
J-Hud. There's a really interesting kind of like blank spot in the kind of like late 80s, early 90s.
And late 70s like, too, actually.
It's like not quite gone far enough to be classics, but also, I'd say definitely American as well.
Yeah, also definitely American. There are a bunch of people who could be in here who are not in here.
No Bjork.
Yeah, no Bjork. That's another good one. Like,
that's a great point. Chromatic.
Yeah, where's Bjork? Because she's important. I think also, Debbie Harry from Blondie's not in here. Like just some people we could think about. Because I feel like Blondie is actually Debbie Harry's quite important. I would put her in there.
What about Stevie Nicks?
She is on here.
Is she?
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, she is. Apologies. I didn't see her there.
Stevie Nicks is on here, but Dusty Springfield is not, by the way. I'm just Lulu is not, like, there's a bunch of like some people.
Do you think maybe someone searched for like because they didn't know they were like 70s stars, and they saw Dusty Springfield and were like, that's clearly a guy, I won't look into that one.
I mean, I would just say that for me, Mrs. Taugs, like, I feel like a lot are missing from this and could be broken down even further by either generation, decade, or genre.
Yeah.
So many women could be on this list, but would make this. I know. I would have liked it to have been a little bit. I would have liked them to do it by genre, by decade.
Yeah.
Like, try to get like a certain number of people per decade. Like Cyndi Lauper's not there.
I could have you back for a series where we go through the decades each time, because
decades. So look, J Hud, I'm not going to rank very highly.
Yeah. Jennifer Hudson?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I wasn't sure. I
No,
vaguely
yeah,
know the name, but know of
yeah.
no songs. She'd probably be
We're
like
not.
Lana Del Rey for me.
Yeah, we're not going to rank her very highly.
Yeah.
She's got a big voice. She was an American Idol, but she's an American Idol winner. But
Ooh.
she's not Kelly Clarkson.
Yeah.
She's got
I mean,
a big
who
powerhouse
is Kelly Clarkson, really?
But I mean, like, she was like, I don't know, she won like fifth or sixth or whatever.
Mm.
She's got a big powerhouse voice, but she's like a big gospel belter, of which there are many. And I
And
don't
there are
think
better.
and I don't think she brings a whole lot of new to the table. Do you
Mm.
know what I mean? Like, I don't think that
Mm.
I think, oh wow, Jennifer Hudson just changed the game. And I don't see her as having like a massive following and a huge impact on people. So I'm not going to rank her as highly.
From what you're talking here, I'm thinking like a barrier for her would be like Etta James then, or maybe Miley Cyrus. If you say put her above Etta James, I will laugh because.
No, I would not put her above Etta James.
Okay.
Uh,
So someone has to lose to Etta James. She's having a
Yeah.
real rough time of it so far.
Yeah, Mrs. Todd's like she blended and was forgotten. Yeah, and I also don't think she was as like
Impactful.
I feel like even to be like Fantasia Barrino had a little bit more of a following. Not memory, no offense. Yeah, and it's no offense. So I'm gonna put her
Above.
below uh Gladys Knight. Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. Yep.
And the question is she below Demi Lovato? That's
Demi-
hard for me.
To put it into to try and help put it into perspective, Demi Lovato, you were really liking for the things that she's been outspoken about and stuff. Like, has Jennifer Hudson done any of that, or
Jennifer Hudson got an Oscar.
I mean, that's film and stuff though. That's not.
I
really...
know. But people like think about it. People like.
I guess it gives you a moment to be able to talk about stuff you don't care about. Sorry, that was really mean to the Oscars.
Craig says, I think Jay Hudson has been more impactful in the Broadway scene than the pop R&B scene, and I think that's fair.
Yeah.
So we will rank her above Demi Lovato.
Okay.
Yes.
So we'll move people up who need to be moved up. We are almost full on our current listing, but one more, and then we'll be full. I want to see. I love an underdog story. I now want to see Ariana Grande get out of the Ariana Grande tier.
Let's see. Coldrix, I think J Hud also got on the wrong side of Beyonce when she outshined B in their movie. And then there was a tragedy with her family. I would say, actually, everyone says that Jennifer Hudson did a better job than Beyonce, and I actually don't think that's true. I think that she, and partly that's because the thing about Jennifer Hudson is that Jennifer Hudson is not Jennifer Holiday. You know what I mean? Like, if you heard the original Dreamgirls, like Jennifer Holiday doing "I'm Telling You" was like she's fine. You know what I mean? Like she's fine. Like I think that she's fine. In some ways, they're both slightly. Oh, that is Mary J. Blige.
Oh, okay.
And Mary J. Blige has got to go up there.
She's pretty beast.
She's pretty beast. She's also pretty important, right? In terms of leaving, like, sort of paving the way for neo soul. I think she's really important.
Yeah, she was 90s, right?
Yeah.
I remember, like, the problem I have with Mary J. Blige is I know the name instantly and I cannot think of any songs.
Real Love was her big one.
I don't actually. I think maybe I saw her in like featuring with people, you know, so she was like in songs with people. So I may not even know any of her own like songs and stuff. But that's just my perspective, which is a drop in an ocean.
For me, she's around Lauryn Hill.
That's a good.
She's in that
that's
area.
That's like Alicia Keys. I can see
she's
what
in
you
this
mean,
zone. I think she's more important than Mariah.
Okay.
She's more important than Mariah. I think she's more important than Alicia Keys.
Okay.
Because of I think that it would be hard to have Alicia Keys without a Mary J. Blige.
Yeah. What about T Swizzle?
That's a good question.
I hate myself for saying that.
So what I will tell you is that I think everybody in the universe would say you'd have to put Mary J. Blige above Taylor Swift. That you have to.
Yeah.
You have to.
That doesn't mean they're right.
But I think that Taylor Swift has to go above Mary J. Blige, even though that's heresy. Like, I get it's heresy,
Okay.
but I feel like Lauryn Hill outranks Mary J. Blige in terms of some of those things they were doing.
And Taylor Swift is maybe a bit closer to competing with Lauryn Hill.
I think that Taylor Swift is doing a different lane, and so I kind of want her above Mary J. Blige, even though I understand that a lot of people would like lose their mind and want to kill me. Like, I get that. I get
that. That does put Tina Turner into the top 5.
Nice. Hello, Tina.
Currently, you have Ella Fitzgerald, Diana Ross, Aretha Franklin, Dolly Parton, and Tina Turner as your top 5.
That makes a lot of sense. I'm with it. I'm with it.
Don't you like this way of tiering? It's torture, but you learn shit where you're like, oh my god, I didn't expect to put like Lizzo above Britney Spears or you know whatever.
So next up,
this is I would personally put Jennifer Lopez below Ariana Grande, but that's just me.
I wouldn't.
That's fair.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem. What I want is Selena. I would put Selena much higher if I had, because here's the thing: we have Jennifer Lopez, right, who's big, big, big.
Yeah.
But for me, Selena is more important. Not Selena Gomez, but Selena, the Tex-Mex star, the Norteña star, who was murdered, right? Who was murdered right before she got to have her big English language
debut.
Crossover, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Selena is really, really important in terms of making a way for Latina stars. And so I would have Selena over J-Lo 100%. I would also have another person who's not on this list is what's her name? Celia Cruz. Celia Cruz would go above Selena in terms of like Celia. First off, the fact that Celia Cruz is not on this list makes me very sad because she's one of the founders of salsa as a genre, and that she's not here is terrible. So I feel like that is terrible business. But we don't have a lot of Latinas on this list, and so Selena is on this list. Yes.
It's okay. Cool.
Okay, Selena's here. I'm super happy. Since Selena's here, we're gonna put J-Lo.
SBN. SBN. Estás bien.
Yes. Okay.
You know who isn't on here? Who I kind of feel like should be, and I'm just double checking to make sure that she isn't on here because I've been burned before. Gloria Estefan.
Gloria Estefan should totally be on this list.
Yeah.
Gloria Estefan should be on this list 100%. She should be on this list. Come on now, people. Come on.
There's probably a couple of others whose names I can't remember at the moment. Was Gloria Estefan one? Oh god, I can't remember the song even. Sorry, just carry on.
Rhythm's gonna get you. Conga.
It's like, come on, everybody. Oh god, I mean, that shit.
I would maybe go a little bit more international. Maybe go with like Ofra Haza, one of the really, really big first stars out of Israel, who's Yemeni.
Yeah, dude, my reach isn't that far in terms of.
Yeah, but like, where's Marlene Dietrich? I'm just saying, there are like a bunch of people who could be on this list. Whatever.
After Pink, that's Gwen Stefani.
Yep. So J-Lo is. Look, J-Lo's a massive diva. She's really important. Right?
Sorry. Just the silliness of being like, is that Gloria Estefan? Oh no, that's Gwen Stefani. Sorry.
This is going to be maybe
I'm not
controversial.
laughing at you. I just found that funny.
But I think that J-Lo has got to be behind Amy Winehouse.
No, I'm down with that. That makes sense to me.
Mainly because I find J-Lo to be, look, when it came to the Latin explosion that happened, right? There was that big Latin explosion that happened in the 90s. And she was like the big woman of the Latin explosion. But let's be fair. The Latin explosion was really Ricky Martin and like Enrique Iglesias. Like those are like the big ones from that one. And so I mean, I would rank Ricky Martin above J-Lo like a whole lot if you were on this list.
I'm also a very big proponent of like being honest and true, even if, you know, like and you know she did I'm Still Jenny from the Block, and I'm like that always every time I saw Jennifer Lopez after that, it affected me because I'm like, you're not, and you don't try to be, and that's really pandering and just like lying.
Like, she's fine. I just feel like, I mean, she gets a lot of space because she's one of the really big women from that particular moment. But Gloria Estefan beats her because Gloria Estefan paved the way for her. Like, I just think that she's fine.
I feel like every now and then you have people who are trailblazers who don't deserve it and prove that they don't deserve it, but they still trailblazed. So you're like, you're like, this person, they did things, they made waves, they were very popular. Like,
I mean, here's the thing: if we want to talk about like the Latin explosion that happened, right, with around when it really kicked off when Ricky Martin did the World Cup song, Copa Mundial, right? Like that was the real beginning of it, that moment.
Yeah.
But Shakira is going to outrank J-Lo.
Yes.
Because I think that Shakira actually being from Chile, right, is actually important, right? That she's not from the US and she made big hits in the US, I think is important in terms of like opening up international like connections. So I think that's important.
And Shakira didn't blast into fame and then have, you know, like this, like there's been plenty of issues with J-Lo and you know, her being kind of an asshole to people and etc.
And like, she's fine. I just don't think.
Yeah, she's in the public eye more, so like everyone's an asshole to everyone at some point, you know. Like, if you're the more famous you are, the more people scrutinize you, so the more instances of you losing your shit is gonna come out and etc. And like, in a way, I sometimes respect people who like just let their facade slip and just be like, yo, I can be an asshole sometimes because there's this whole PR thing and everyone has to be perfect and celebrity and I hate it all but you know, I as said before, I am a grumpy old man, so I'm very cynical person.
And Prax notes that after the Super Bowl show, Shakira proved the more powerful force on stage when she's on stage with J-Lo, and that is absolutely correct. So like we just have to. That's it.
There was a lot of J-Lo riding off other people's coattails as well, like on the way up.
Yeah, like and I'm not hating on her. She's just not going to be ranked super highly.
Yeah.
So this is Katy Perry.
Oh, this is Katy Perry, right? I always see Katy Perry's name, and I'm like, who's Katy Perry?
So Katy Perry's tricky because she's clearly had a huge impact.
Yes.
For her particular moment, she was important. Absolutely.
Was she kind of a flash in the pan though, like a firework?
I mean, she's like but like I'm a little iffy on her, a little bit.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I feel about her, to be honest. Like I get she doing like, you know, collabs with like Snoop Dogg and whatnot. Like yeah.
It's a bit like Gwen Stefani, except for maybe a bit less successful in that regards.
Except that I think Gwen Stefani is more important than Katy Perry.
Agreed. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like she's like Gwen Stefani in that she kind of has changed her style and her things, and then she does collabs with people outside of her lane and. You know.
Except that I think that Gwen Stefani is more significant because of her role in bringing pop punk to the forefront. Whereas I don't think that Katy Perry really brought anything super new to the forefront. So
also like one thing I talked about Trooper with before we started the tier list is I was like, when we're done with this, we'll talk about your top divas who aren't in here. And
do me a favor.
Yeah.
Put Billie Eilish above Miley Cyrus.
Okay.
For the moment.
Yeah. And one person who, if I was bringing up divas who aren't on this list, I would probably put Hayley Williams in here. I know she's like Paramore mostly, but I feel like there's Hayley Williams is kind of like a worthwhile. And again, this is the whole fucking 2000s growing up thing as opposed to 90s, because you know if this was a 90s kid, Hayley Williams would be in here.
Right, but now I'm wondering about like Joan Jett.
Right? Oh god, Joan.
Like where our big the only real rocker we have on this list really is Tina Turner. You know what I mean? Oh, and Pink. Those are the two big rockers.
Yeah.
Let's put Katy Perry above J-Lo, but behind Amy Winehouse.
Yeah, I'm kind of feeling that, to be honest. Like
Yeah.
that like when you said it, I was like, oh, yep, that's probably where I'd
Yeah.
put them too.
Because she did stuff, but like, like it's okay. It's good. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Who
I
does
feel
though?
like she had more of an impact than J Lo, but I feel like
Yeah,
Amy Winehouse had more of an impact.
and
So,
just like more appreciation for
yeah.
like. Yeah. It's hard to appreciate someone who's so mainstream, and I feel like J Lo and whoever it was, Katy Perry, are very very mainstream.
But see, my one pushback is that a lot of the people we think of as not being mainstream are also really mainstream. It's just
Oh,
they're
sure,
it's,
sure, sure.
right. You know what I mean? And
But
like
I'm not
the
just
rock versus pop.
I'm not
Like
just I'm talking like aesthetic music as well, in the sense of like I can appreciate Amy Winehouse's music more because it's not so pop.
oh, Prax, Pat Benatar's not on this list. Linda
Mm,
Ronstadt's not on this list.
mm.
They're right.
There's a
And I think,
big
but
there's a tier list we could do of people
yeah.
not on this list, like the best people not on the list, tier list.
But one of the things about the mainstream aesthetic is that if we want to be really, and like where's Melissa Etheridge, if we want to be really upfront, we have to recognize that what is considered mainstream and not legitimate is what is feminized,
Yeah.
right? So you can be a dude doing rock or punk and be the number one hit song and the most mainstream ever, but people will think of you as being more legit because of sexism, right? I mean, that's kind of really what this is about, that we delegitimize genres that are associated with women and genres that are sort of done by women, things that are thought of as feminine. And so the mainstream attack is almost always about women and femininity and pop. And so, like, I really push back against that. And I don't think, for example, Britney Spears is any less legitimate than Kurt Cobain, even though
No.
people would lose their mind if I said that. They're both doing important things, and I just think we have to be really watchful and mindful about the ways in which we tend to
Well,
denigrate things that are associated with women or femininity or girls.
I would say that mirroring my dislike for uh mainstream pop female artists, I also
Mhm.
have the disdain for mainstream male pop artists. It's just we're not talking about them, so they haven't
But
come
that's
up really.
but pop is still a feminized genre. There are very few
Really?
pop men who are like, you take a look. It's like, one of the biggest pop men recently would be Justin Bieber. And
Mm.
what were the big memes about Justin Bieber? That he was really a lesbian, right? So he's framed in this sort of feminized way, and
What
male artists
was
tend to
I?
not get respect until they ditch their female audience and move out of that space.
Yeah. I guess I've never heard the whole Justin Bieber as a lesbian thing, but
There was a whole
yeah,
thing. There was a
yeah,
whole thing about it. But also, like, a lot of aspersions on his masculinity. And when he tried to get a more mainstream audience, he had to ditch the women and like hang out with Skrillex, right? Or um, people didn't like the Beatles when they had a predominantly female audience or perceived predominantly female audience. They weren't as
yeah.
deep. And then when they got their like college dude audience and people thought they were deep. Same thing with Frank Sinatra when he had a predominantly sort of female perceived audience. People thought he was not deep and not
I
good.
can kind of see that with like Ricky
Hmm.
sorry, what's his name? Ricky.
Ricky Gervais. No.
Yeah, Ricky
Sorry.
Gervais. The classic. What why can't I remember his name? Oh, God save me. Sorry, you carry on, and I'm gonna
Oh,
find this
Grace
out.
Slick is another good one. Where's Janis Joplin on this list? Sorry.
I love
Where's Janis
I
Joplin?
love Janis Joplin.
Right? Where's Grace Jones? Um,
Ricky
and
Martin.
yeah, Ricky Martin. And we do
Like
this in like the same thing with
and
Justin
Enrique
Timberlake.
Iglesias and
Yeah,
Justin
yeah,
Timberlake. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Like Justin
Boy
Timberlake,
bands, all the boy
boy bands
bands.
in
Yeah.
general, yeah. And then when those guys in the boy bands want to get like respect, like what was the first thing that Justin Timberlake did? He started doing collabs with rap artists,
Mm,
cut his hair,
mm.
and like kind of denigrated his old style. So there's like a pattern of sort of framing pop men as, especially if girls like them, right? Like
Yeah.
Sean Cassidy, all those people, like they don't get respect. They're seen as like not good until they sort of ditch their female audience and they kind of move slightly out. And practice correct that Janice would be considered a genius, not a diva, because she hangs out in the rock world. That's
And
100% true.
there's also a really worrying message sent to young
Hmm.
girls from
Hmm.
those, like
Hmm.
from those like male pop artists who are like they're appealing to Yeah, it's like Disney sexualization essentially, where it's like it, on the surface it seems very innocent and etc. And yeah, then it's like,
But I mean, a lot of what it is, right, is that a lot of men do not like the fact that the men that women like are not them, right? Like a lot of the guys that are women's heartthrobs are guys that are not going to sexually assault you in their image, right? Who want to hold your hand and want to be romantic and care about your feelings and say that they love you, as opposed to like sticky fingers and whatnot. Like a lot of women are like, yeah, Mick Jagger's
well,
not going to do it for me. You know what I mean? And
I sorry, I
especially,
have I like this is a whole other conversation because I
yeah.
have some thoughts on this, but it's it's from like the male and other side perspective where it's like you something I've spoken about with my male friends, just kind of like just chatting about society and all this kind of thing, is the kind of and it's not really comparable, but it's like the number of times you see women talking about you know women power and feminism and all these type of things, and then you get in the bedroom and it's like choke me daddy, to keep it very non-explicit and etc. It's
But
just
if
like,
one wants to talk about statistics,
oh yeah,
the largest percentage of people who are subs are men, right? So like men are more likely to be subs in a BDSM relationship than women are
I'm not even sure I'd classify a lot
by
of
a
them.
lot,
Yeah,
by like that number
yeah.
by a lot.
But it's like passive aggressive subs is what I've heard. Like where it's kind of like I'm a sub, but I'm testing you and I'm pushing you and I'm trying to, it's very passive aggressive, which has its own like aggressive-ness to it.
Yeah, no, but
It's an
because
interesting conversation, but
yeah,
we are already on
we're so close. But the
six and
point
a
is that
half hours.
but the thing is a lot of basically a lot of like it's like the idea like a lot of what the men think are the ideal man
Mm,
that they want to be
yeah,
are not hot to women,
yeah.
right? And that becomes the problem because the guys like I want to like you look at like 90s superheroes which they're all roided out with like no neck and like they just punch people a lot and like women are like
Come
yeah
on,
that's
what are you
not
talking about? I'm a man. I'm an
I'm like
attractive man.
and women are like yeah no uh that's not hot, right? And like
Yeah,
and there's
yeah.
and I think a lot of men get frustrated that their ideal is not the ideal that a lot of not all women of
You,
course that a lot of women have. A lot of women are like we like young Elvis, we think or uh uh like a swimmer's build, right? Versus like the super roided out dude and
you
uh
you know what's really interesting, and it's not really
mm,
the place to start talking about this, but I find it really interesting because I've noticed a trend in interestingly porn,
mm,
and there's a specific type of male porn actor that has become like rising as women watch more and more porn,
mhm,
and it's like a very skinny, very kind of
mhm,
like
mhm,
slim
mhm,
frame,
mhm,
very no muscles or anything like that,
mhm.
and like a very specific look,
Oh yeah.
that has really been like busting out in porn, pardon the pun, but
Oh yeah. You know what's very popular, what porn is very popular among women, straight
mm,
women? Gay male porn.
mm,
Because the gay men are hot,
yeah,
and you can look at them, right? So, like,
yeah,
I mean, I don't know a lot of women who are like super into Ron Jeremy. Do you know what I mean? So, like,
yeah. Well,
yeah,
Ron Jeremy is like the porn version of like Superman, because essentially he is that dude who in the fantasy gets all the women while
yeah,
looking like a fat slob who's all
yeah,
hairy and messy, and that's what we all are.
yeah.
So we're like, hey, look, if Ron Jeremy can do it, so can we. Which is
Right.
the
Like Ron Jeremy's a fantasy for men, but
yeah.
like he's not a fantasy for women.
That's such a weird thing to say, Trooper.
But it's true though. Do
No,
you know what I mean? Like that's
yeah,
yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. And so like sometimes there's this, and I think that's the thing um that sometimes there's a real like a lot of men don't like to think about themselves as being objectified because that's not like they think of themselves as like the subject, not the object. Um so then and they also don't ask I mean I was in the army this one time, right? And there was this guy and he's like, oh, women suck, they're the worst because they only care about men with cars and they're also shallow, and he was just doing that whole thing and I was like, well, because they won't date me. And I was like, well, one of the reasons why they won't date you is because you're talking smack about women, and that's not really all that attractive.
You're kind of
But
being an asshole, yeah.
you're kind of being an asshole. But also we're in the army right now, and we're in Germany, and basically nobody has a car, so it's not that. And we're also in the army, so nobody really has money, so it's not that. I'm going to ask you a question, my friend. And he says, what? I said, when you go to the club to go and try to date these women, are you wearing what you're wearing right now? And he said, yes. And I said, well, that's your problem. You should maybe take a shower and also shave and put on a shirt with buttons. Like, just maybe put some effort in so that you look hot. Because right now you look like you just rolled out of the toilet and you're going to go to the club. And if you notice the girls in the club, they've all put on nice clothes and makeup. They've done their hair. They've put in an effort to look nice, and you look like crap. And it doesn't even take a lot to not look like crap. You could just not wear that holy shirt. You know what I mean?
As a generalization, yes. However, I will say, as the years have gone on and we have become a more equal society, in general, again, I've noticed more and more women who go out, and like, you know, it's no, but they'll go out and just be slobby and messy and all that kind of thing, and not care. Probably because they're not looking to attract anyone, or, you know, like, but it's interesting.
I'm just saying, Prax and I did this. You know, you look at the Oscars. It's the Oscars. It's the red carpet, and there are all these women who clearly have spent quite a lot of time on their outfits. And dudes, there was a guy wearing a rented tux where there were still creases from the pants over the hanger. Like those, I was just like, wow, you all look real bad. Like this is, and I see it on my college campus all the time where there's like a woman like in this like bodycon dress all made up and like walking down the street to go to a frat party with a dude in sweats. And I was like, my goodness, put in some effort, people. Put in some effort. Like, this is embarrassing. Like there's a reason why people are not looking at you because you're in sweats, like at a nice dinner. Like, what is wrong with you? Like, just put in some effort. And by the way, he put in some effort and then he got dates. It was really that simple.
Oh yeah. It's speaking as a slovenly and in general scruffy dude who doesn't put much effort into how he looks. It's very, very true. If you put in effort, you can get dates and etc. But I'm currently in hermit mode, and I'm very happy. I'm very aware that if I wanted to go out on a date or you know, something along those lines, I would get dressed, and I would do some self grooming and make sure I look nice. Yeah, make an effort. Yeah,
make an effort. That's all.
Sponge your undercarriage.
Just a little bit.
Sorry, that made me laugh.
I am going to put Selena in between Missy Elliott and Cher.
Wait, what about?
Oh, we haven't done. Oh, that's the other Selena.
I don't know who this is.
She's going to stay where she's at.
Oh,
that's Selena Gomez. She's got some really good hits though.
Is Ariana Grande moving up?
Yeah, she is.
Oh, and Etta James moves. Wow, my God, this is possibly the most groundbreaking, not even upset, but Ariana Grande is out of the bottom, and Etta James has moved up a tier.
I like Selena Gomez. I like Selena Gomez more than Ariana Grande, but Ariana Grande is bigger, and like she has more impact.
I've heard she's like 4 foot, but I know what you mean. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I've heard that too. I mean, I like Selena Gomez better, but
Selena,
yeah, she's gonna go in front of Cher. She's gonna go in front of Missy Elliott.
Okay.
Even though she died, but she's still really important.
Sorry. It's the type of thing I'd expect my chat to clip to quote so that it could be taken out of context later. Even though she died, she's still important.
This is heresy, but we're gonna put her above Beyonce.
Dude, it's not heresy for me. I told you Beyonce would be way lower for me.
But behind Madonna.
Okay.
Yeah.
She didn't have the chance to impact as much as she might have, but
she had a really big impact, but usually it's kind of behind the scenes, you know?
This is where we find out how much of a contrarian I am, because I put Rihanna really low as well.
I think Rihanna's important, especially internationally, outside of the US.
Sure. I kind of put her like weirdly. And I'm probably wrong on this, but it's my own take. So, it's interesting. For me, she has a kind of Billie Eilish kind of like level, which means that I'd put her behind J-Lo because like it's very, very similar to J-Lo for me, except for J-Lo's done more and had longer. So that's just me though.
Krillin asks, would she have had the impact she had if she hadn't died? I don't know. She might not have. Like, for me, there's a way in which she's kind of like Aaliyah that way, where their death was really important in keeping them alive in certain ways.
Yeah.
Cosmic Demon Wolf. You're right. You're right. We have to put Beyonce ahead of Selena.
Okay.
We have to because of Lemonade.
Okay.
We have to. That's just that's really important. Rihanna is going to go.
Is it Love on the Brain or Love on the Mind or Love on the Brain? Something like that. Sorry, is that heresy to try and sing that?
I feel like we're gonna put Rihanna above Mariah Carey.
Oh, I see. You're punishing me for trying to sing a Rihanna song by putting her above Kelly Clarkson. I see. It's fair. It's fair.
But
to give
for me, you know, Rihanna, Alicia Keys, and Mary J. Blige are all kind of important in similar ways. I think Rihanna gets slept on, but I think that we're gonna keep her there.
Okay.
Cosmic Demon Wolf is like, it's fine. Mariah doesn't even know who Rihanna is. Oh, Mariah Carey. Cosmic Demon Wolf, I appreciate the clip, the quote. I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, to give a little bit of context for my opinion on Rihanna, the last song I actually remember listening to hers and like paying any attention to and even like enjoying was Come Mr. DJ. Is it Ponder Replay? Is that what it's
called? Ponder Replay.
Yeah, and I think that was like one of her earlier songs, so I don't know much Rihanna.
Shine bright like a diamond, and we found love in a desperate place.
Oh I think
my money.
Yeah, I've heard of those.
Umbrella.
Umbrella would be the one. Yeah, because I heard no, I'm gonna remember. Give me a sec. You carry on. We've got Pink. Pink will be high because I love Pink.
Yeah.
Although I don't have any control over this, I'm just like putting a plead out there.
We're gonna put Pink right after Lady Gaga.
Okay.
But in front of Dionne Warwick.
Right after. Okay. Would you put Nicki Minaj above Pink?
That's hard.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, "Ooh, this will be fun."
Yes. I think in the end, yes.
Yeah.
Because Pink is great and I love her and she's really important, but she carries on a particular tradition of basically the rock chick. And she got really great politics. I think she's really amazing. She's great. She's still a rock star. She's got her rock moves, but I think we have to put her there. I think that's where we have to put her. And I love her. Do you know what I mean? Like I think she's amazing. I love her. But, you know.
I couldn't remember who did the cover of Umbrella that I really enjoyed, and I went to look it up, and it was Mandy Moore.
Oh, interesting.
I've listened to that cover a lot. You know who else isn't in here, who I really wish was in here? Which is, give me a sec. Just because I love both of them, is Sarah Bareilles and Ingrid.
Oh, yeah.
Ingrid Michaelson.
Oh, I like her too. Yeah.
Like, they're not mainstream the same way, but I love both of them. Have you heard Sarah Bareilles cover Sitting on the Dock of the Bay?
Oh, that's so good. So good.
So good.
Also, Imogen Heap, for me, would go in there with like...
Imogen Heap,
York.
yeah.
Sort of experimental.
But like you can't be as upset about them not being in there because they don't they don't break the mainstream the same way.
I know. We're gonna take Gwen Stefani. And we're gonna put her.
Are we thinking about Hollaback Girl as we rank her?
No, I'm actually thinking about
we got to ignore that completely because
Don't Speak.
I try. Oh God, Don't Speak. Yes.
I'm thinking about her duet with
Spiderwebs.
Sublime. Yeah, Spiderwebs. But I'm thinking about her. I Saw Red with her and with Sublime.
Oh God, I love Sublime.
Yeah. So like for me, I'm thinking about her as being part of that Southern California ska scene, sort of ska punk scene. She becomes super big later, but I actually think that her, like, No Doubt, Sublime, there are a couple of those bands in that scene that I think
her
are
work
kind of
in
important.
No Doubt was so like
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
if we were talking groups, I would put No Doubt above Spice Girls, for example.
Oh yeah, me too, 100%.
Yeah.
Also, Cosmic Demon Wolf is correct. Where is Tori Amos on this list? She 100% needs to be on this list without a doubt. Come on now.
But just for people watching, for these tier lists, you have to like make an account and then find all the icons, and it'd be a lot of, and we'd probably end up with like 500 people on this tier list, especially. So like we find the best tier list we can. So there's always going to be like things missed out, or there are some where we just we don't know. I think
Gwen Stefani has to be in the area around Rihanna. She's above.
Yeah, I think
I'm going to place Gwen Stefani above Mariah Carey.
Okay.
Which might seem scandalous for a lot of people.
I'm fine with her being above Mariah Carey. I just have an issue with her being above Kelly Clarkson.
I just think that I think that her sort of connection to ska is, I think, something more new than what Kelly Clarkson did.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's my own bias where I love Kelly Clarkson.
And I'm going to put her above Rihanna as well.
Ooh, okay.
Oh my gosh, where's Shirley Manson, Chromatic? Yes. Sorry. Like Shirley Manson should be okay. Whatever. Where's Shirley Manson?
Yeah, we've got this this kind of like poppy own vibe, but like, and then you kind of hit like Alicia Keys, and you've got a bit more like serious artist for a little bit, if you know what I mean. Like a bit more. Is it unfair to say integrity?
No, because I think we can't tell.
Yeah, but that at least presentation of such.
Because like it's a performance of, because I mean, by all accounts, Celine Dion is super serious and committed to everything she does.
Yeah.
But people often don't believe it because her sound is pop, right? But she's apparently very, very serious.
And that's fair. Like, I think
she did My Heart Will Go On in one take. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like there was like a rapper, who was it? What was his name? Who like everyone thought was like super hard and like, all that, but it turns out he was like a correctional officer at one point in time. So like people present authenticity, but it's not always.
Well, before he died, DMX became a pastor.
That's right. Yeah.
But I have a problem with DMX because he always remained very homophobic.
Yeah.
Which was a problem for me. I still love his music, but it's hard to hear those those slurs and everything in his songs.
Yeah. And it's just one of the things that we tend to in our society think of sadness as real and happiness as fake.
Yeah.
And so therefore people who are happy we think of as being fake, and that's messed up. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
That's messed up.
I mean, coming from you as one of the most cheerful and energetic people I've seen in my life, and I perceive no fakeness, only genuineness from you.
Thank you. But like the B-52s are amazing, right? Like the B-52s are not like faker than some other band who like and Hammer started off doing religious stuff actually before he became MC Hammer, like the big MC Hammer. So like, it's just one of those things where you have to like, think about it. All right.
Should we stick with that, or do you want to put Gwen up against Alicia Keys?
We're going to keep her there for now.
Okay.
For now.
We'll do a little roundup of the...
Although, I might put Gwen above Alicia Keys but not above Mary J. Blige, actually.
Yeah, I can honestly see that. Alicia Keys is great, but she did fall off reasonably quickly, and she didn't impact much, at least on the big scene.
On the big scene, yeah. Amanda Palmer would be interesting to have here as well. Actually, she'd be interesting. All right,
who's this?
Carrie Underwood.
Carrie Underwood.
Another American Idol winner.
Yeah. Someone I know nothing about.
Oh, she's got the amazing song "Before He Cheats," really good. She was quite big in country, but I don't think of her as So we're gonna. She's
maybe like Billie Eilish, just below Billie Eilish starts.
Yeah, she's gonna. I feel like we should probably put her.
Gladys Knight above above, below?
Put her below Gladys Knight, but above J Hud.
Okay.
That's what we're gonna do.
Which means it's not. It hasn't been that often that everyone moves up, but it's starting to happen a bit here, where you got Amy Winehouse in your top kind of like, I think that's top like 35. I think is where that is.
That is correct, Cosmic Demon Wolf. The further left you are, the better you are.
Yes.
That is correct. Now we have Shakira.
Shakira.
Hips don't lie.
And to my knowledge, her hips never did lie, so she was being legit there. Fair play.
So Shakira is going to be above Kelly Clarkson.
Oh, you doing this on purpose? You just hurted me.
No, it's not that. I'm just thinking about impact.
Yeah, no. Again, it's fair. I would even say like, oh no, J Lopez is down there. Never mind. I thought J Lopez was further up.
She's way above J Lo. Come on.
I'd say like Mariah Carey, Rihanna, like is kind of where you're going to be start having some combat.
Yeah, I agree. And I do love Kelly Clarkson. Like that, her first album Breakaway was excellent.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to put. I feel
there.
Oof,
just for me, like above Mariah Carey. But Rihanna is kind of like.
You know what though? I'm gonna put her above Rihanna. I'm gonna tell you why.
Okay. Yeah.
Because she has a massive career outside the United States in the Spanish language, and I want to honor that.
Okay. No, I respect that, to be honest, because
I want to honor that she has an entire career that the people in the United States don't really know about, or people who are not in the Spanish language sort of scene don't know about. And I want to honor that.
Not everyone loves Clarkson as much as you, Sheepy. Yes, and I'm just saying that's heresy. Like, why is everyone so wrong about this? I don't understand.
Stevie Nicks.
Stevie.
So Stevie Nicks is going to be a problem for me.
Yes.
And I'm going to tell you why. And this is going to be heresy, and I know it. Stevie Nicks, for me, is in the same crowd as a bunch of other women.
Yeah.
And those women are going to be Ann Wilson from Heart, Grace Slick from Jefferson Airplane, Janis Joplin. There's like a crowd of women from the late 60s, early 70s that, and they're also having hits around the same time as like also Linda Ronstadt is in this group.
Kind of.
Pat Benatar's a little bit later, but still in that space.
I do love Pat Benatar. Yeah,
right. And I just don't think I would rate her as high as them, even though people really, really love Stevie Nicks.
Yeah.
I
Heartbreaker,
feel like
favorite.
Yeah, Heartbreaker. I mean, come on, right?
You're
I think that they're
heartbreaker, a maker.
Hit me with your best shot. Right? I mean,
knees. Sorry.
Yeah, I just like I know people love Fleetwood Mac. I get it. But I think that Heart has more impact than Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah.
And
also, like this is like it's like Gwen Stefani. She gets risen up a lot by No Doubt, but it's not just No Doubt that you're taking.
And I like her and all that, but I just don't think that there are a bunch of people who are not on this list that I would rank higher than I would her.
I feel like if No Doubt was it instead of Gwen Stefani, they'd probably be a bit higher in whatever list it was we were doing,
Yeah. And Chromatic, where is Joan Jett? Where's Lita Ford?
Yeah.
And so, right. So like, okay. So we're not going to place her as high as other people might, in a kind of a scandalous way.
No. That's, I think, whereabouts are we going with this?
She's above Katy Perry. No doubt. She's
above No Doubt. Okay.
No. She's above Katy Perry.
Wait, where's Katy Perry? Yeah. Okay, I see.
Yeah. Oh, Cosmic Demon Wolf. Yeah. Where is Janice Ian? Right on this list. Like, where is she? But also, like, we could think about real talk. I would put Joni Mitchell, of course, above Stevie Nicks. But Joni Mitchell's not going to be in this list. But I mean, she could be. Also, I would also put, without a doubt, 100%, I would put Carole King above Stevie Nicks. 100% I would. Real quick. Like, that's, I would do that.
Etta James and Stevie Nicks, is that a good, like, face-off? Because
Okay, we're gonna put Etta James above Christina Aguilera right now.
oh, okay. Oh, because Christina Aguilera versus Stevie Nicks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, okay,
And we're gonna put Stevie Nicks above Christina Aguilera.
okay.
Yeah.
Is that the
Yeah.
final verdict, as it were?
That's what we're gonna do right now. That's what we're gonna do at the moment. Cosmic Demon Wolf asked about Billie Holiday. Yeah, and Cosmic Demon Wolf, Billie Holiday should be on this list for real. We have Ella Fitzgerald, but we don't have Billie Holiday, and that I think is a problem. But all right, that's fine.
I wanna kind of shame myself weirdly a little bit, just randomly and for no reason.
Sure.
In the do you know what soundtrack I really rate?
Tell me.
10 Things I Hate About You.
Oh, I don't know that soundtrack. Is it good?
Not really, no. But I really rate
Oh.
it. 10 Things I Hate About You is Julia Stiles and
Yeah.
Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
It's like I Want You to Want Me. Because I was thinking, and I was like, I'm sure there's a song in there. But it's got like Letters to Cleo or Want You to Want Me, Semisonic, Save Ferris, Joan Armour Trading, Weakness in Me, War,
nice.
The Cardigans, 1 Week, Bare Naked Ladies, Bad Reputation.
Ooh, that's good.
Done Again, cover of Joan Jett.
So Barbra Streisand reminds me of some other things that we're not talking about. There are a bunch of Broadway divas who are not on here.
It's
like Patti
Salt
LuPone
Push
is
It.
not here.
Salt and Pepper.
Push It.
Sorry, I had to put that in there because I love Salt and Pepper, and they should be on here, to be honest.
Although these are solo artists, I suppose. But like Angela Lansbury's not on here, or Ethel Merman, or
I need to introduce you to
Bernadette Peters.
I need to introduce you to Lady Leisha. I think you'd really like Lady Leisha.
We're gonna put Barbra Streisand really high on this list.
Okay.
And one of the reasons why is because she had the top selling albums from any woman for like a really, really long time.
Yeah.
She's not a singles artist as much, but she's an album artist, and she's super, super big. Yeah, B. Arthur is not on this list, and B. Arthur was a Marine. Like, B. Arthur is amazing. So we're gonna put Barbra Streisand.
Do you remember when Christina Aguilera did Candyman?
Yes, I do. I do remember that.
Do you want to keep her above
Amy Winehouse?
Yeah.
No, switch them.
Because of Candyman?
No, but because I just think that actually Amy Winehouse has a bit more of an impact.
Yeah. Sorry, I like that came into my head because you said the Marines thing, and I was like, man, that song sucked.
But Ain't No Other Man was really good. That was a really good
song. Yeah, it was.
But I'd still put Gloria Estefan above her.
Yeah.
We're going to put Barbra Streisand above Whitney Houston.
Ooh. There? Yeah. So.
And now I've got to figure out what we're going to do about the rest of this.
We have one more.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah. That is Judy Garland.
Judy Garland.
That
okay.
is Judy Garland, who also has to go way up there.
Yeah.
Okay. Judy Garland is going to go behind Ella Fitzgerald.
I'm guessing Ella Fitzgerald is your top, right?
Yeah, at the moment, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if she'd be my top if I had other people.
Yeah. But with current setup.
Yeah. Cosmic Demon Wolf, I agree with you, and I think we have to put Billie Eilish above Lana Del Rey.
Okay.
Yeah. I agree. Cosmic Demon Wolf. So I don't think you could have a Judy Garland without an Ella Fitzgerald, so we're going to put Ella Fitzgerald above her. Although still, I feel like there's some other people I would have before I had Ella Fitzgerald up there. So that's what it is.
Yeah.
I think.
Sorry, I'm being silly.
This is really hard because I don't know who I want to rank higher, Barbra Streisand or Tina Turner. But Barbara Streisand does get to go in that top tier, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're not really at this point. We're not really doing like 1 to 10 and etc. Essentially, I consider that top tier to be your like icons, and then as we go lower down, it's kind of like slowly going into like the lower tiers and etc. And then right at the bottom, we have "In the Spirit" of our Ariana Grande, which is actually not even Ariana Grande anymore.
It's Selena Gomez, who, by the way, I bought that album of hers because that song of hers, "Can't Keep My Hands to Myself," is really good. Is really, really good. Yeah, I suppose we might have to do that.
So I have a first up, would you like to do like a top 5 honorable mentions of people you feel should be in here, but you know aren't in here for reasons of the 2000s or the noughties, I guess is what they're called.
Okay, Grace Jones, Marlene Dietrich.
Oof, dude.
Billie Holiday. Janis Joplin.
Yep.
I mean, come on.
I like don't feel like you have
Patsy
to.
Cline.
Patsy Cline. Okay.
That's 5.
Yeah.
Because we need a really good classic.
Yeah, we can't cover everyone, but I feel like so many people were left out. It was worth having some honorable mentions of kind of like these people should be in here, but we work with.
But
I would
also think about like maybe Oprah Haza, like for international. I might do somebody like
here's someone just to consider for your top 5 honorable mentions. I don't know whether you want to knock someone out for her or not, but Iggy Azalea.
Oh no. But
sorry, I wanted to make that tense and stuff for a second.
Because look, here's the thing: who do we care about in Fancy? Not her. We care about Charlie XCX. That's another one of those examples where like Charlie XCX was way more interesting.
Yeah.
And also Cosmic Demon Wolf. Kylie Minogue certainly needs to be on this list.
Yes,
I would put her around. Like I would put her up there with like Beyonce, Selena, Missy Elliott, Cher.
Yeah, that's
Dion.
probably where I'd put her off against Madonna probably.
Yeah, I think I would. Yeah, and she's not as big in the US, but she's massive. She's a massive, massive star.
Who is also, again, quite tiny from what I hear.
Yes, and I would definitely put her on that list. I think she's important. I think that like internationally, she's really important. I would definitely put her up there. I want Dusty Springfield and Lulu on there. Some of our like women from the British invasion.
Before we tidy off the tier list, are you happy with where everyone is now?
Yeah, Queen Latifah has to be on there.
Queen Latifah, yeah. Okay, so if you don't want to make any more changes, and honestly, I will say, I think you've done a really good job of tier listing something so difficult.
Yeah.
Because you gotta like, you know, there's always the kind of like, oh, but this person did this, and you know, but this song, and you know, what I will ask you to do now, this is just a little extra thing that I think you'll enjoy.
By the way, Sinead O'Connor would be on that list. By the way, she'd be on there. Sinead O'Connor has to be there for me.
What was the name of the person? The Cranberries.
Oh yeah.
Like.
What's her name? Siobhan? No, what was her name?
Yeah, we've been going for 6.5 hours.
But I would rate Sinead O'Connor higher than the singer from the Cranberries.
Oh yeah. But I was just like, you said Sinead O'Connor, and I was like, and also it doesn't help that we can't remember the name of the person from the Cranberries.
But I'm also thinking about like what's her face? Who did Running Up That Hill? Yeah. Dolores, thank you. Dolores. Dolores. Oh, she was great. I loved her. But Dolores O'Riordan, thank you.
Neil Quinn.
No.
Niall Quinn, Cranberries lead singer.
Yes. What's her name? Kate Bush.
Oh no, sorry.
Thank you.
Dolores O'Riordan.
Kate Bush. Like Kate Bush could be on there. Kate Bush, I think, would be a good person to think about in that space as well. Kate Bush would be interesting.
What about the singer for the Cardigans? Because I really like her.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
But the problem is with these, we're looking at solo artists.
Yes,
Part,
yes,
right?
you're right. I'm just thinking about all the awesome freaking ladies in music now at this point. So for your own interest, and you don't have to do this if you don't want to. It's not something other people have done, but in this instance, I think it's interesting. Would you like to label all of the tiers that we have here?
Oh, okay.
Just like look over what you've got there and just kind of like give a vibe to them, because I don't know.
The top tier.
I called them tip top troopers.
Thank you. Yeah. That top tier is going to be historic impact.
Oh, I was gonna call them my eternal loves. Just the because like a lot of them are like classics, and like have always been classics since we've been alive, kind of. Well, not
cracks will never be beaten. I'm gonna go with historic impact.
Impacty. Second tier, we got like Whitney Houston, Beyonce, Missy Elliott.
No, first one. Go back to that first category. We're gonna call them the divine.
The divine.
Mm-hmm. Or divinity. Mm-hmm.
Divinities?
Yeah, the divinities. Mm-hmm.
I have a suggestion for the second tier.
Mm-hmm.
Like queens of their lane. Or perfecting their form, something along those lines, because like I'm looking through and all of these people here are like the top of what they do, kind of thing, you know.
That's right. Yeah.
Which one worked for you the best? Because I shouted out a few things.
Queens.
Okay.
No, empresses. Because nobody can say that Patti LaBelle's not a queen.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Empresses.
So with the next one, because we're kind of going from divinity to empress to queen, and then you got like pop princess, and then you like that's an interesting way to rank them, to be honest.
We will call the next tier hair apparent. I like that.
Like just going off the vibe of a few of the people here, I could vibe with like Valkyries.
Ooh, yeah. Valkyries. How Valkyries are good. I like that.
Because you've got like Nicki Minaj, you've got Pink, you've got.
But also they have impact, right? And Valkyries like have spears, so
yes,
I like it.
Yes.
Which
I need to look up a word for the next group.
I would call them influencers.
I was trying to think of a word, like you know how artists have a muse. I was trying to think of a similar word that was like you're a muse to, because like you've got like Alicia Keys and Shakira and like some really great voices in here, especially.
Let's go muses.
Muses. Oh, what's the name of the it's Greek mythology, this one. Is it Ariadne and someone else? Who's the one who went into Hades?
Oh, that was Orpheus and Eurydice.
Yeah. That was kind of the vibe I was thinking on, like, yeah.
But I feel like they're too high to be just Eurydice. Because I feel like they're more like the muses. They're more inspirational.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's I see that. Yeah.
So this one, what I feel like, this is not correct. I'm going to say this word.
Okay.
This is not correct. They feel to me like, and this makes no sense, regional.
Okay.
And I really like regional is actually a metaphor, right? In the sense that I feel like they're really important in a lane, right? But they're not
localized. Or like, I'm trying to, yeah. me have a look here.
How about something like personal faves?
I mean, are they your favorites?
No, not my personal faves, but they
Yeah.
are people's personal faves, right? Like, I feel like there are people who are really attached to them. They love them, but I feel like it doesn't get to like international. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
I'm trying to.
like somebody loves Jennifer Hudson a whole lot, but I don't feel like the world loves Jennifer Hudson a whole lot.
I'm trying to think of the right word for it, because I know there's a right word for this, what you're saying, and it's like...
You know what? Call them princesses.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is a little rough, because I'm putting Gladys Knight in the princess category. But I mean, like, Gladys Knight, you know, like, there's Aretha and Diana Ross, and like, I'm just saying.
I mean, like, you know, Miley Cyrus is been around for a long time and been a good artist and very, very popular, but she doesn't have the gravitas.
Yeah.
As you move further up the list, you're like, oh, there's some real gravitas up here, and yeah, I think actually princesses kind of fits.
Yeah.
Because for the most part here, you don't have anyone who has that like impactful gravitas, but they're all really they're all still good. You know, they're all still very talented and successful and popular.
And so, I would like to keep the last tier with that title.
In the spirit of Ariana Grande.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Okay, so the first thing I will do is save this. There we go. So that I will be able to post it in my Discord, and nice. I'll send it to yours if you want to also.
Thank you.
To also post it up. There we go. Lovely, lovely. And yeah, what I'm gonna do actually is I'm gonna split this up into 2 videos.
Sweet.
Because just to give you an idea, or everyone an idea of what it's like when me and Trooper to get together, the longest Bar Brawl so far has been just about 3 hours.
And we're just about 3 hours too, so that's super convenient.
For the second video, yes.
Do you have an uptime command? I don't know if you do.
I don't think I do.
Time command? I don't know.
I have so here's a random fact, and I guess interesting if you find these things interesting. My bot, so if you type in like for example !YouTube. Thank you, Doc. My bot is actually one of my mods, one of my friends, and someone who's been with the channel for like 6 years or something ridiculous.
Oh, wow.
I originally had one of those deep bot command things, which broke when I changed my channel name. And I was griping about it, and then Doc just took pretty much everything that I'd done in the deep bot and turned himself into my channel bot. So you will see Doc talking, like you probably saw Doc talking earlier. But he also will spew out commands.
Nice.
So we can like shout out.
Oh hey T Games. We just we're finishing up a lovely interview chat, and we just finished ranking all these female icons and lamenting who's missing. Like, oh wait, Edith Piaf. Edith Piaf should definitely be on this list. That's also Mae West should be on this list.
That sounds like a prank name, you know, like like you call up a place, and you're like, can I speak to Edith Piaf, please?
But only if it's like an Italian restaurant that has a really good rice pilaf there.
So starting off, if anyone is here because of me, please go check out Trooper. The link is thanks to Doc and his automated system is there. So yeah, click on that link. Go give Trooper a follow. Go watch City of Light and Dark.
Light and Shadow.
Light and Shadow. Sorry. We've been chatting for a while, and my brain is mush at this point.
It turns out 7 hours and 8 minutes. 7 hours and 9 minutes, as it turns out. So just a little hair over 3.
And 6 hours 41 minutes of recording.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean, Trooper, like, one thing I'll do, but also maybe I may need to message you and ask you for, is like a few of your shows and a few links to some of the things you've done, so I can put in the description. Essentially, in these, like, you know, one-on-one podcasty type things, I don't just want to be like, hey, go and look for yourself. I want to, like, I like to link things that people have done, like shows and places to find certain, like, things. So I may contact you and be like, oh my god, send me this thing which I can't find, or you know, something.
Absolutely.
And yeah, that.
Can I ask you a personal question?
Oh yeah, hit me.
What time is it where you are right now? I'm guessing.
Okay.
It is. Let's see. 2 a.m.
It is 1:56 in the morning.
Nice.
But to be fair, I woke up like an hour and a half before the show, so.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Currently, I'm on like so OMG Vandy is Canada, and we play Apex together to pass time sometimes. And like, she's in Canada and she goes to bed before me at the moment. Like, she's like, dude, I can't play anymore. I'm knackered. And I'm like, so that gives you an idea of what. Also, to be fair, like, you know, you can't expect me to stick, like, I'll be awake for 2 days sometimes without sleep. So,
because you're a vampire.
Yes, I am indeed a vampire.
I mean, that's just a true statement. Everybody knows it. There was a whole conversation about it between me and.
There was.
I mean, okay, I just decided it was me.
Trooper responded to me, and I responded back, and then Trooper was like, "How are you still awake? Isn't it like ridiculous in the morning?" And I'm like, I have a medical condition," and it was just like,
Vampirism.
And I was like, yes, but don't tell anyone, because I need to.
Oh, I just told everyone.
I need to maintain the masquerade. You see.
So sorry. I just told everyone about the vampirism. You know that there are people who are allergic to the sun, right?
There's a person in Castle who's allergic to the sun, and he thinks he's got some mental problems, and he thinks he's a vampire because he gets burned by the sun. It's quite interesting. The episode itself isn't amazing, but I was like,
I would not like to be allergic to the sun. I think that wouldn't be fun.
You have situations with people who are like allergic to the weirdest, you know, like air, essentially, because of dust or whatever, and they have to be kept in a bubble, or, you know.
I knew somebody who was allergic to the ocean. Yeah, like allergic to the ocean, and she only knew that because she went to
a Billy Ocean concert.
Yes, and it turned out to be horrible. No, that she went to. She was stationed in Monterey when she was in the army, and she just was like sick all the time. And she's like, I wonder why I'm sick all the time. It turns out that there's something in the ocean that gets in the air. You know, when you like can smell the ocean air. Anyway, whatever that was, she was allergic to it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Prax.
Seagulls.
Yeah. I think it's something to do with like plankton or whatever, or some kind of like bacteria in the ocean.
It's probably like the spray from the ocean hitting the cliffs and the shore and etc. and kind of like
the White Cliffs of Dover.
Yeah. Oh, the White Cliffs of Dover.
Oh wait, would you put Vera Lynn on this list somewhere? I mean, I know that she was very important for the UK.
I don't actually know Vera Lynn off the top of my head.
What? Okay, Sheepy, what were you doing in 1940s UK? Like, I feel like, were you just like sleeping like in the 1940s? I don't know what to do with you.
I would imagine that I was sleeping the sleep of someone who had not been born yet.
Whatever.
Oh, you wanna know a weird fun fact about my family?
Yes.
My granddad on my mum's side was in World War II. He served as a scout for a tank division. And he even received the second highest medal you can get, which I think is it's not the Victoria Cross, it's the something else. Sorry.
St. George?
Yes. Because his tank or I can't remember, like, he didn't talk about it. My dad had to research it. But essentially he called down artillery on his own position when him and his team, his tank crew, I think, were besieged and hiding in a barn house after they'd like extended too far
Oh
scouting.
wow.
And he got a medal for that, and for other
Wow.
things as well. There's a lot we don't know about how my granddad did, but my dad was born basically in World War II era, and his dad, my granddad on my dad's side, was
hmm
was too young for World War One and too old for World War Two. He was born in this
Wow.
really interesting, like just you
Yeah.
know, not that he didn't want to get involved, and he did, obviously, like, you know,
So what's interesting about that is that that is a particular generational group that I'm very interested in.
mm,
I was doing most of my work on that in Germany, but there was a little baby boom that happened right there. It's this little lost generation where they were too young for World War One,
yeah,
which means they saw the impact of World War One. Like a lot of people coming back with like half their face missing, and they're like,
mm,
"Ooh, war is
mm,
awful," right? And they were big jazz fans. Like they were like this. They were the jazz age. They were the lost generation.
mm.
And they were huge fans of jazz, very cosmopolitan, uh, pretty anti-war, and not particularly very nationalist. And then they were the group that people talked a huge amount of smack about, and got in a lot of trouble once World War II started. But they're like they're the
Was
lost generation.
was the goose feathers? Was that World War One or World War Two?
Oh, I
Where
think that was World War One.
that was, I think that was World War One. I was gonna say because like, were they the generation of the goose feathers who all got goose feathered by? Because I remember that was a thing where they were like, "You're not going to war. Here's a goose feather," and I'm like, well,
No, because they were too young. They were too young.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
they were there was this whole thing which I thought was like super fascinating. I was reading interviews with some of these people from the time period, and there was this one interview, and they were like, "Oh, from the Comedian Harmonists, which is a German jazz group," and all of them, they're like, all of us, all of there's six of them, all of us, we were all born in the new century. All of us, we were born in the new century. You could tell that we are like modern people because we were born
Mm,
after 1900,
mm.
except for that one band member, Eric Collin, who was born in 1898, which means the last century. And they're like, and you could tell, right? There's this real this real sense that if you were born in 1900, you were part of this new generation, and the world would be better. And there was this quote where they said, if the Kaiser had listened to jazz, there never would have been World War One,
Mm,
and also anybody who likes jazz could never be a Nazi, and like that. Basically, there was this real idea that this new life, this new world that was happening in the 20s would make the world a better place, and we would never have like discrimination and badness because we've all embraced jazz. And then Hitler came to power, and it was all bad. But it was like
yeah,
there was like this sort
yeah.
of moment where they had this sort of hope of like a cosmopolitan world, and then it didn't work out.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Just because I was on my family, like fun facts about my family. My mum's side of the family, like reaching back a little bit, is related to Herbert Henry Asquith, who you being a historian, you probably know, or
I
like
don't.
interested. So Prime Minister Asquith was
Ooh.
the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom from like 1908 to 1916. So
Ooh.
basically, he was the one who took all the flack for the Gallipoli campaign. And
Mhm.
that's essentially like one of the reasons why he had to step down in like 1915, 1916. And that's when Lloyd George
Mhm.
became prime minister. And yeah, but yeah, we're related to a prime minister, like kind of very vaguely and etc. But still.
I now have a new tab. I have a new tab now in my Windows. Just adding a new tab. It's fine. Uh, just added a whole bunch of new tabs from today.
Yeah,
That is what I do.
yeah.
My great grandfather lied about his age in order to volunteer for World War One,
Oh,
and then he was still young enough to fight in World War Two. So he was in both World War One and World War Two.
that's pretty impressive, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah. Awesome. You know what? I should probably eat
Yeah,
lunch.
no. I mean, like, I've been to the lavatory about 3 or 4 times, and I'm very impressed. Like, part of
Oh,
when I was off on like my third trip there, I was thinking to myself, Trooper should start like a game show, which is basically conversation and holding it in. Because
oh, you have
I
no
think
idea.
like you could have challengers of people coming to you being like, I want a long conversation with you, and also the first one of us to go to the toilet loses.
By the way, I have been drinking water this
Yeah.
whole time too, by the way.
It's,
I'm just really good at, look, I was in the army one time, and sometimes you're just like, look, I'm in a foxhole right now. I'm gonna be here for 12 hours. I'm not going to the bathroom.
I mean,
like you just,
you very clearly had strong and vigorous training in camolytics.
Yes.
I don't. Is there anything you want to talk about, or like stuff you're doing, stuff you're planning on doing, anything you'd like to kind of give a little highlight to before we wrap things up?
Oh, today is Wednesday.
For some of
I'll
us.
be playing. Yeah, for some of us, I'll be playing Long Dark over. Like, if you're interested in my video games, which is mostly me talking and hoarding, I'm playing the Long Dark at 6 p.m. on my channel, TrooperSJP, tomorrow. But Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern time on my channel, TrooperSJP, will be an episode of City of Light and Shadow, Fate French Resistance Campaign, Occupied Paris. We have 3 episodes left. I'm really interested to see what they're gonna do. Because things are happening. And then if you want, you can find me on Saturday. Saturday is going to be a big deal. So Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern, which is Euro friendly. It'll be the debut episode of Midsummer Mysteries over on Table Story, which will be
dude, that's taking over from the PB show. Like,
yeah, because it's their Saturday. They do like experimental things on Saturday.
Yeah. Because I think Friday was gone actually, but it was the P, something beginning with P, Paramon, Persimmon. What the hell was the name?
It wasn't Persimmon.
Prototype.
It wasn't Prototype.
It was the Paramore complex, or the Paradox.
It was
the Paradox whole hog.
No. Wait, hold on. I've got a list.
The Peach McDonald's Cerebrum.
Cerebrum Project.
I got the P right on kind of. Yeah, so Cerebrum Project going in, like, dude, that's gonna be so cool.
So excited. And then at 6 p.m., that's 2 to 5, and at 6 p.m., also on Saturday Eastern, over at Weave the Tale, I'll be doing episode 2, a little 3-parter of Tachyon Squadron, which is like pew pew, Buck Rogers, Top Gun, like space fighter pilots, pew pew. And those are the things that I'm doing at the moment.
Okay. And yeah, because this is going to be 2 episodes, I'll get the first half out tomorrow, and then the next half out on Friday, which means that those of you who are listening to this right now on YouTube, very, very soon will probably be when Trooper's going live with the City of Light and Shadows. So you can you can immediately finish this and go straight over to Trooper's channel and watch that.
You should do it and say hello.
Yeah.
And it's all our heroes are. We'll see how it goes, everybody. We'll see how it goes. I think they want to go and kill everybody at the Wannsee conference, which is going to be in a month. So I think they're plotting. They're plotting a little bit of killing, as you do.
Yeah, I mean, why not? It's war.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Also, I get an excuse to learn about India during World War II, because we have a new player who's playing an Indian prince who studied medicine in Oxford, and so I get to learn a lot about India and Burma and like parts of World War II that we often don't learn in school. So that's really exciting for me.
Okay. Yeah, I was just gonna say I was looking through my possibilities for moving on the love. Unfortunately, I don't see anyone streaming at the moment who's like, I don't have a massive follower list. So we're actually gonna be raiding Remy. Who doesn't need my raid, but I like Ribby, and he's playing something completely different and really, really fun. He's doing like him and a whole load of mates get together, and a whole load of Twitch streamers get together and read through slightly risque visual novels. It's very, very funny because they lose their minds, as it's like, you know, that you have instances of like stepsister romance and and all those type of like ooh type things. So
I did a whole don't ask why. I mean, you can if you want to, but I did a whole visual novel. It was only like one episode, I believe, because we finished. It was short.
yeah.
In Pig Latin.
Oh, I've played some. I have a series on my YouTube called Torture Sheepdog, and I read through a whole load of really bad visual novels.
Well, now the visual novel itself was not in Pig Latin. I just read it in Pig Latin.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying like mine were really bad. There was one called Tokyo Hosto, where you're a Tokyo like a host, you know, in a host club in Tokyo. You're a guy trying to like attract women and do better than your male competitors, and then randomly it finishes, and it's like you're a dog. You're dreaming that you're a Tokyo host member.
Nice.
You're actually just a dog
Nice.
drinking out the toilet. And I was like, what the hell is this? What the hell is this?
Have you played Doki Doki Literature Club?
I have played a little bit, but it got spoiled and I wasn't really enjoying it, so I was like,
yeah, fair.
But I have played Sony Komi and a little bit of Dream Daddy. Well, quite a lot of Dream Daddy. So you know, yeah.
My character was in a ska band in college.
Oh, they used to play with Real Big Fish.
Well, my character, Rex Manning, you know, he'd been in a ska band in college. You know, he was cool.
Oh, nice.
I mean, he wasn't that cool. Oh, he also decided to date somebody other than who I wanted to date, but that's fine.
How unreasonable.
He and I had differences of opinion, but you know, whatever.
So yes, thank you everyone for watching this two-parter extravaganza, the Trooper parter extravaganza. I'm gonna send you guys off to Remy. Go give love and enjoy if you do decide to stay. I have a couple of things I want to talk to Trooper, so I don't want to keep you any longer because I'm then also going to keep you for a couple of seconds after the after the show. So thanks for watching, guys.
Thank you everybody for sticking around.
Hell yeah. See you later. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Ciao.